All right, Scott, we're here live on YouTube to go over the
Hey,
best WrestleMania match from every WrestleMania and rank them. Now, for stock music, that was not the worst stock music I've ever heard. We didn't want a copyright strike because we're in that gimmick now, but not the worst. I've heard worse.
it was fine. Sounded a little bit like a little Maroon 5 going on there for a little bit, and then
Oh, we're going to bust out into This Love, maybe? We'll see. So,
I don't know. It kind of sounded like Harder to Breathe actually, but I probably shouldn't actually say the name because of the copyright strike it anyway.
oh, you can say whatever you want. You just
Okay.
can't play it. So.
Yeah, all right.
All right. What we got going on here, Scott, is we compile the list of the best match from every WrestleMania, and then we're just going to breeze through them and rank them 1 through 41. So the gimmick is pretty straightforward. What happened was I took my ratings, I took your rankings from your old reviews or whatever, and now we're going to just discuss it and see where it lands.
Sounds fun.
All right. Any questions? And how are you doing?
Well, I woke up this morning to hear that Loverboy Dennis Condrey had passed away last night, which was not a great way to begin my day. But other than that, I guess I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Was he sick in the hospital? Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware. He was 74 years old, so I mean it's pretty close to natural causes. I feel like, but yeah, I hadn't heard. He was like Condrey was, really really private guy, right? Like, so he wasn't somebody who was out there and like doing the podcasts and everything like that to update us his life all the time. So not entirely sure, but yeah, but a bummer.
Very, very much so. All right. Not a bummer or any matches really on the list. I think the worst match that we had was, I think you had one at 3 and I had one at 3.25 for context. So, it should be pretty positive here. All right, let's get going. The first match up here is from WrestleMania 2000, the Triangle Ladder match. Dudley's, Hardy's, and Edge and Christian. Scott, you gave this 4 stars, and I gave it 4.25 stars. I prefer the year after, but this was probably the best match from easily one of the worst WrestleManias.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, WrestleMania 2000 was a huge disappointment on a lot of levels, especially it did pioneer the 6-hour pregame show at least, so it had that going on for it. But yeah, there's man, after all that build up, like I will say, I mean, I liked the triangle match a lot at the time. Rewatching it took it down for me a little bit, I think, just because it was so completely eclipsed by everything that came after, like even like a year later, what they were doing kind of destroyed it. So I mean, points to it for innovation, but yeah, it just doesn't hold up anymore. I don't think that. I mean, it's still good, obviously, right? But like it's been done before and after better.
Yeah, there's a few times where I kind of neglected or overlooked ladder matches for this list because there are some numbness to them and some repetitiveness.
Yeah.
Spoiler, the year after we don't have on the list. We had something a little higher, but this one kind of stuck out because this pay-per-view was so bad. But for right now, it's number 1, But what I do remember from this match is it seemed to solidify Edge and Christian as stars. And, it's funny that they won all 3 of those matches as well, too. Looking back, I think that they always thought Edge was probably the guy out of the 6 to go with. So,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it really was Edge and Christian's kind of coming out moment as a tag team for sure. Like I did not expect them to win at the time. Honestly, they seemed like kind of a token addition to it, and they came out the champions and they took the ball and ran with it. Obviously.
Yep. But that next year is just like a tier above. That would be very high on any list. It just happened not to be in this list.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly.
All right, next match here. Surprise, really, in a way. WrestleMania 4, the big tournament and whatnot. But you had it 3.25. I had it 3.25. It's my favorite match from WrestleMania 4, and that is, for the audio listeners, Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in the first round. Shocker that the Hammer beat Ricky the Dragon. I still blame his wife for trying to put Renee on his contract and his momentum or whatever. So this is pure nostalgia, WrestleMania 4, but this is a baseline pretty good match. And unfortunately for WrestleMania 4, in my opinion, and probably yours, it's the best match of the night.
Yeah, I rewatched WrestleMania 4, relatively recently last year, and boy, that was rough getting through that one again. Man, it's like 2.5 hours in, and it's like, oh, we're still not done yet, and like, oh, people complain about the length of AEW pay-per-views, but man, in 1988, watching that thing over two videotapes is just like that's a 2-day project, that thing. And yeah, no, it was a decent match. Valentine notoriously needs a long time to get warmed up, and Steamboat obviously didn't give a crap. During the match, right? He was just out there, pin me, pay me, basically, and move on with it. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's even kind of good, but as a WrestleMania match, that WrestleMania 4 is just a total write off, I think, overall.
Yeah, it's the definition of pure nostalgia, really. It's remembrance of what early WrestleManias are, and probably getting the best bang for your buck renting 2 VHS tapes at Blockbuster or your local video thing is really what holds the water for WrestleMania 4. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. It's funny, but you get 4 Savage matches and none of them are particularly good. The last one's pretty good, but I don't know. This one is just like a pretty good house show match. And in retrospect, it's probably last on our list as of right now. We'll see how it does versus others. Or, WrestleMania 2000, I think it's pretty safe we put it above it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And as I give away the gimmick right there. All right, next, we're cruising here. Next match, WrestleMania 11. Scott, you gave it 3 stars. I gave it 3.5 stars, and that is the WWE Championship match between Diesel and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Shawn would not defeat Diesel that night. I think I went an extra half star over you for Pamela Anderson. But what'd you think of this match?
That match mystifies me because, like, it's just like it should have been so much better. You had like these two guys, they're best friends, they're going out there, and you think Shawn Michaels would be doing everything in his power to get his buddy over, and he sure didn't. Like, he went out there and he made poor Kevin look stupid going out there, like, basically wrestled circles around him and made him look slow, and of course there's a million gimmicks in the match, and like it was just huge disappointment. I thought at the time, that Shawn Michaels this was the time to do it. And obviously it wasn't in Vince's mind, it wasn't, but Shawn was at kind of the peak of like the pre-attitude era Shawn, like, he was over like crazy. He had the super kick, which was like this hugely over finishing move, and it seemed like it was a good time to pull the trigger, and he just, went out there and sandbagging his buddy. Might be a little bit strong, but like it was pretty close to it. Like Shawn Michaels clearly was out there for Shawn Michaels and not for Diesel, and it kind of wrecked the match.
Yeah, it sounds like you get the infamous story, or the famous story. Pat Patterson in the limo afterwards, we got ourselves a baby face on our hands, and then the boyhood dream would be the next year later.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah, bad Royal Rumble to leave into a kind of bad WrestleMania, but this is the cake out of it. I feel that I adore, let's put it that way, the LT match, but this is probably a better overall match. I still think it's pretty good enough. What do you think? Split the difference? Have it second overall so far? Not
probably so far, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not a bad match. I mean, it's just considering everything we know that Shawn Michaels can do and everything he did afterwards. I mean, like, he had like a near 5-star match with Diesel like the next year. So I mean, like, so clearly they could, and just Shawn just chose not to in this case.
Yeah, but it shows how good Shawn can be, even when he's out there for the wrong reasons. They still generate a decent match, a good match, right? But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it didn't really hurt their career, but it's it was a little disappointing. On paper, it should be much better.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the next match here is WrestleMania 38, and that is Seth freaking Rollins versus the Mystery Man, and that Mystery Man would turn into Cody Rhodes. Scott, you gave it 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
I gave it 4 stars. We both think it's pretty great. It's probably the biggest successful match we've talked about so far. I actually feel that the Backlash match was a tidge better, and then the Hell in a Cell was, blew them both out of the water. But
yeah,
as a surprise, as a moment, this is great. Scott, why so
Yep.
high on this one? I thought this is why I'm a little bit lesser on the other two before I throw to you. I just
Yeah.
thought Cody, maybe perhaps the moment was too big, his emotions were too high. He felt maybe his like the footwork wise, he just felt a little bit off, but the emotion, the layout, all that stuff was incredible and great. And it was a monster success. Obviously, look at us 5 years later. But for a pretty good WrestleMania, this is the best match. Why were you so high on it? I think it is great, but 4.5 is high, buddy.
I mean, hey, it was a great move, great moment. I mean, after all of the Cody burnout in AEW that we've been experiencing, I think it was just nice to have him come out there and obviously be like, be motivated and like he clicked, right? Like it was like clearly this is where he belonged. Like he went in there and he was somebody who could work the WWE style. Like he went in there and they just dropped him in there and it's like, boom, this guy is a WWE main eventer. And he didn't necessarily fit in 100% with AEW in the direction that they were going, and I think that's why people soured on him, like a lot. And I mean, people are souring on him a little bit more now today, even. I think so. There's kind of a similar feeling brewing towards him. It feels like there, but like, it was just like WWE at the time even was such a just like a repetitive, well, even now, like a repetitive amount of the same main eventers, right? Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and the usual guys over and over again. And Cody just came in and just busted past that, kind of busted past the glass ceiling, right? Like he went out there and he got himself over and he took it. And I really dug the match. I mean, the thing is, of course, I wouldn't know what at the time how good that the Backlash match and the Hell in a Cell match were going to be to eclipse it completely. And so I haven't watched it, and like I've been the newer ones, like the modern stuff, I don't really go back and watch again, so it's hard for me to get like a retrospective view on it, because mostly it's just the older stuff that I'm interested in going back and redoing. So I mean, if I watched it again, I might be judging it against this other match. It might be not as great as it was, right? But I mean, hey,
still 4 stars is great, very good. There's the historical value should carry weight. The stage of WrestleMania should carry weight. I just think I was a little bit over dramatic on, Cody and keeping up with Seth, and it's his first big match like that. He had some big matches at AEW, but on that grandest stage, and I felt that his nerves must have been really, really high that night.
Oh yeah, it must have been. Yeah. And I mean, hey, and he carried it, right? Like he didn't go in there and drop the ball or anything like that. Like he got dropped in there, and he was instantly a main event guy. Yeah,
if I'm calling it 4 and you're calling it 4.5, shows what we think of Cody. What do you think about it versus the TLC or the ladder match? I had the same grade, and you had a little high. We can go back at the end. We'll go back and massage it all out. But I think 38 match, probably a little bit higher right now than that one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next match here. Oh, baby. It's a big one. It is WrestleMania 6. The Immortal Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Challenge. WrestleMania 6 WWF title. 4.25 stars for me. 3.5 for you, Scott.
I mean, do you know how many times I've seen that match? Like,
I know.
Quite a lot.
I'm big on the moments. Honestly, on the network, I'm probably one of the lower guys on the match. I still think it's great. I think it's with modern goggles, it's probably not, that 4.25 I gave it, but historical value and formula just work. And Warrior is a big time wrestler in big matches. He excels in those big feels. So I think it warrants it. A weak 4.25 for me. But
yeah, I mean, I can split the difference at 4. Honestly, it's one of those matches I go up and down on. Like it's watching it now, like after 150 times seeing the match or whatever. Like you can tell how rehearsed that it is in a lot of ways. Like they rehearsed that thing literally for weeks leading up to it. Like, and you can tell it has that certain feel to it, like a certain a certain rehearsed vibe to it that I find kind of hurts it in that regard. It's obvious that Warrior just gets completely blown up by about halfway through the match, and Hogan has to carry him through it. And it's just things like that kind of like, because after I've seen it so many times, it kind of loses the nostalgia factor, and I'm just watching it for the mechanics of the match, and it's really easy to nitpick that kind of stuff, unfortunately. So it took it down a little bit for me. But I mean, like I would still, hey, it's one of the defining matches of my childhood. I was really disappointed to learn later on how badly that the show did honestly, because it was a huge drop in buy rate from WrestleMania 5. Like the
Really?
WrestleMania 6, yeah, objectively it kind of flopped, honestly. Based on that, there's the pay-per-view market was changing a little bit, but yeah, like Warrior winning the title, they thought it was going to be a much bigger deal than it actually was, and WrestleMania 6 actually did kind of a very disappointing number. And the other thing is that the Sky Dome, of course, was the money for the tickets was in Canadian dollars, and that actually hurt the gate a lot as
Oh, the
well. So
overall value.
yeah, the overall value of the show. So I mean, it kind of unfortunately Warriors' run got off on kind of a weak foot to begin with. He had a lot of stuff going against him, overall in his title reign in general. But just it was a big moment. But yeah, like I say, he unfortunately had a couple of strikes against him right off the bat, and he was never able to recover fully from it. I don't think. But I mean, still, hey, still that last minute of the match is still awesome. Like one of the best finishes. Like that was like the genius finish with Hogan Hogan doing the big boot, and it looks like the leg drop's gonna pull it out, and he misses, and Warrior hits him with the splash and wins. And hey, can't fault that. And like I say, yeah, I go anywhere from 3.5 to 4 stars.
Yeah.
I don't usually go much over 4, but I mean, yeah, I depending on how I'm feeling and time of day, sure, yeah, I can go up to 4 stars, no problem. And obviously, it's still one of my. It's not technically the best of the match on this, but it's absolutely one of my favorite matches.
There's some historical factors as well too. What do you think? Put it right under 38 for now, and then, like I said earlier,
I'd say right under that. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
When we go back, the final conclusion. That's when we'll have our discussion.
Sure.
All right. Next match here is WrestleMania 15, the first of the trilogy. Spoiler: we're going to talk about all 3 Austin and Rock matches tonight. We thought that they had the best match from each WrestleMania that they were a part of. Scott, 3.25. Me, 3 3/4. We have it pretty good to almost great. Scott, you are the lowest on this one.
I'm not sure if you're going off my original. I did redo 15 later on. I like the match way more on second viewing. Yeah, like you could tell all like the difference in what Rock was doing from 97 to 99 was like night and day. Like that guy was he picked it up like crazy, and like you could tell all these nuances and things that he was doing there was really amazing. Like off the top of my head, I'd go as high as 4 stars on it, honestly.
Yeah.
3.25 feels really low. That feels like Scott in 1999, just watching a couple of drinks in the system,
1999. So there is a difference. Okay,
good. There is a difference. I hated that show so much. It's so bad. But yeah, it's yeah, no, I really like that match a lot. Now, like obviously that match really sets the template for a lot of the Austin Rock series. Rock taking the stunner bump, flipping over 14 times or whatever it is. There's a lot to it there. Of course, it had the misfortune of being completely eclipsed by their later matches, but hey,
that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. No,
I'm extremely high on the feud and the trilogy. Now, while Scott 2026 has the floor, would Scott 2026 like to say anything to Scott 2029 or 2099, whatever the fuck it is, 1999?
1999, yeah. Maybe cut down on the booze a little bit there, buddy.
All right, but yeah, this one's going to be unique to fit into. I wonder if we underrate it or overrate it because it's a trilogy compared to the other WrestleMania matches. Where does your gut kind of tell you to slot it as out of the 5 or 6 matches that we've talked about so far?
I mean, on technical basis, I'd put it around with honestly Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Again, it wasn't like a great match. Like it's just because the later ones showed so much more of what they could do, and in kind of like the ultimate form. Basically, like this one was just kind of like an appetizer more than anything, I feel like.
Yeah. Monster success too. And honestly, The Rock's not really as hot as Mankind was leading in as well. So you kind of have that factor of triple threats aren't really in the lexicon or the vortex of the WWF at the time. If it's a few years later, it's definitely a triple threat match. But as of right now, I'm glad that they kept it the one-on-one, so you get the trilogy.
Yeah, poor Mick really got screwed over in '99, man. Like he was super hot coming off of halftime heat, and and the world champion, and he got Russo'd. Like they just they went, I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a bad idea to go to Steve Austin versus The Rock for WrestleMania. That makes a lot of sense, but yeah, like fully deserved a shot there.
I was fortunate. Young Ryan was very fortunate to be in that Worcester crowd when that glass broke and he came down.
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it was very memorable. I was in high school, late middle school years, and man, it was extremely memorable and a core memory in my for sure of my wrestling fandom. It was fucking awesome.
So it put butts in seats, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, it put
Oh yeah.
Worcester is historically underrated, but man, that place was on fucking fire for that
Yeah.
whole main event. Very cool moment.
Yeah, still one of the longest pops I've ever heard in my life.
I still get chills thinking about it. WrestleMania 21, Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. This match gave us both chills, 4 3/4 both ways.
Yeah.
Did we snub it and not go with the full 5? This is a
phenomenal match. No, because Kurt Angle held that goddamn fucking ankle lock so long that I had to knock a quarter star off of it. Yeah, if he had put that thing on there, and it didn't, if Shawn Michaels hadn't been in that thing for like 4 minutes or whatever it was, 5 stars. But yeah, just the finish just took it down, and I can't do it.
I'm with you there. And to think, on paper, it might have been a good moment, but you're fitting way too much into that grocery bag, and that grocery bag kind of split out, right?
Yeah.
On the way up the stairs. Less is more. Let's just put it that way. Less is more. And
I mean, I understand and I respect completely what they were trying for. And and again, this was during the time when it's like, who knows, is Shawn Michaels back for the long term? Is he going to have we didn't know he was Mr. WrestleMania again, right? Like during this period, right? And obviously he still had some time left in him, but you could tell he was going out there, and this was the dream match for him. He was just gonna throw everything out the wall there like that. But yeah, they just missed. They almost had it. They I can't fault them for taking a big swing, but they just missed a little bit, I think.
I agree with the sentiment. It was just it just leaves a little bad taste in the mouth, but overall, fantastically wrestled. Great all-time match.
Yeah, they had the rematch a couple of months later, and that was 5 stars for me.
Yeah, but it's number 1 on our list right now. I think that goes without saying.
Yep.
All right, next one will probably not end up number 1 on our list here, but I think it's a super fun match from a pretty middling to very bad finished wise WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania 9. The Head Shrinkers versus the Steiners. Scott, I'm at 3.5. Very good. You're at 3.25. Pretty good.
I'm at for it. I mean, I like the Steiners. I never liked the Steiners in WWF. I don't think they fit at all in there. They're being kind of shoehorned into a style that they weren't comfortable working. Yeah. It's just they're really better off going out there and the Head Shrinkers, I think, were a good fit for them. Trying to give them that style that they liked working, out there and just throwing guys around and people who would take from them. And then the Steiners got kind of bogged down with Money Incorporated afterwards, and just wasn't it was just never a great fit for them. You can tell they didn't really feel like 100% comfortable in the WWF at that point. But I mean, it was a good match. I mean, they would have better ones later on, obviously, like the Hart Brothers match, but I mean, it
was like a 12 to 13 minute, extremely good TV match.
Yeah.
And I think I probably went up a little higher because they got me with the finish with the Frankensteiner. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and they had better matches together in WCW a few years before, I thought, but it was fine. It wasn't as bad as some of the other things on that show, certainly. So, I'll give it that.
Well, I think we went with it because it was the best conclusion of a match. Because I think we had the main.
I would have gone personally like Shawn Michaels and Tatanka if that had finished. That was any good, I think. But yeah,
you did have that a little higher. I do recall at the time you did have that a little higher. But I think we wanted to go maybe a little Shawn fatigue on this list, maybe just talk about more other variants of wrestlers. All right, where would you compare this to? I wrote DiBiase and Savage. Geez, I got to change that, right? So where would you compare this to the WrestleMania 4 match?
I put it a notch above that. I'd say it's better than, it's not like a no effort show match like Steamboat versus Valentine was, but it certainly doesn't even have the importance of something like Shawn Michaels and Diesel. So I would slot it like just second from the bottom. I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I'm with you there on that, on the gut feeling.
I mean, it's just a match. It was a good match, but it was just a match. There was no reason to have any kind of thing memorable coming out of it.
All right, we got a comment here. It looks like Justin's on the NoSo account. Wow, Rock Austin 19, the best on that show.
Hell yeah.
We'll be talking about that when we get to that, Justin, at WrestleMania 19.
Nobody for Neck with a shooting star press in that match, so there you go. That was by default. Anyway, we'll discuss that one later, I suppose.
Let me look at the Rolodex. That should be coming up a little later on. But up here next is a modern match, Scott. WrestleMania 37. That is Daniel Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns in a triple threat of night 2. Scott, 4.5. I'm at 4 3/4. I was blown away live from this one. And this one's only like 22 minutes, so it has that epic territory, but they don't overindulge it. And I think similar to WrestleMania 9, where the finish got me, the dominance of Roman Reigns and that double pin, I think really solidified his dominance going forward for the next few years. This is the first time at WrestleMania where he defends that Universal Championship. Bryan's out the way. Bryan's out the door sooner than later. Perhaps it could have been a singles match, but that SmackDown match was a month later was excellent as well. But it was really Edge's feud what they kind of surplus Daniel Bryan in. And in the long run, it was probably the right deal. We both had this borderline amazing. I think it's a weak 4 3/4 to kind of put it that way. If that makes any sense to you, I think it's closer to being all time instead of match of the year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, God, that was a ballsy finish, I will say. Like, you watch that and it's like you knew they were going all in on Roman Reigns finally. Like,
I love it.
It's interesting to think of a time when Roman Reigns was like, like underrated, right? Like, it's like, oh man, they gotta let this Roman Reigns kid, he's gotta they gotta let him cook a little bit, And I think this was really one of the matches where it was like, yeah, like this is it. Like he's going out there and he stacked them up like cordwood and pinned them both, and it was like there's no bullshit there, man. Like they went out there and Bryan, of course, like whatever, he doesn't give a fuck. He'll go over and put over anybody. And like
he's game for everything.
Yeah, exactly. He's game for everything, and obviously Edge wanted to do his best to have his comeback mean something with making Roman Reigns. I think and I think they made it like that turned Roman Reigns into a huge killer, and it was a great match, and I have no beef with it, whatsoever.
Yeah, it's that Roman Reigns, that young kid, underrated, main eventing his 5th at the time WrestleMania.
Yeah, I was really big on Roman Reigns for a while. Like I burned out on him eventually, just like everybody else. I think with the 20-minute entrances and all that. I think really the bloodline kind of killed it for me. But at this point, I was on the Reigns train, man. I was like, I'm like do it, put him over everybody. It's awesome.
Yeah, he benefits extremely well in chaos within his matches, and this simplified it. And, come on, Bryan's all time, and Edge is no slouch either, especially in the big matches like this. I think this is probably number 2 for us. I don't think it's as good as Shawn. What do you think?
No, it's not good. It's not as good as Shawn from a technical standpoint. I mean, that Shawn Michaels match was just fantastically transcendent stuff up until the finish. But I'd put it number 2 right now, easily.
All right, we're cruising here, Scott. We are cruising. But we might hit a screeching halt with this one. WrestleMania 2, the Bulldogs versus the Dream Team. So I had to make this graphic. This
did you have one? Yeah.
WrestleMania
2. That was a poorly promoted show.
Yeah, I had to make it. So I think I did all right. Scott, you had a 3.5. I had a 3 1/4. I did watch it this week as I'm watching 1986, and I was a little disappointed. I think real quick, that these two teams have decent chemistry, not as good as the Hearts and Bulldogs, not as good as the Dream Team, and who was an underrated opponent for them was the U.S. Express, in my opinion. And really, the Tito Steamboat match was really good with the Dream Team in late '85. But these guys have just been at it and at it and at it for 2 to 3 months leading into this, and they always had pretty good matches, but the finishes were always horrendous. Horrendous.
Yeah,
so
sure were.
This one, my pushback is So the last 30 seconds, the Hammer's in the match after being in the match the whole time, beating down Bulldog. He tags in Beefcake for a minute, and then he gets tagged back in. He does some bullshit. He goes for a pin and pulls him up. Okay,
Yeah.
you're the it's just like, what are we doing? This is like, why? And then you see in the corner of the ring, Dynamite is plunged on top of the turnbuckle on
Oh,
the top
God.
on the top rope for whatever. He's not tagged. He's
Yeah.
just hanging out there, which feels like forever, but realistically, 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they go for an Irish whip. He reverses it into a double noggin knocker. Hammer finds himself in the middle of the ring, and then we get a lazy non-hook 1, 2, 3. And then Dynamite, they win the belts. You get a big pop. Aussie goes nuts. Captain Lou takes over.
Dynamite's not even there.
Dynamite can't even
Can't even move. He's knocked out
Like,
on the floor.
like-
Like, Jesus. Yeah, I know.
So you take away from the fans in the moment because he's not available because he has a concussion or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 3 1/4, barely, in my opinion. I was
Yeah.
disappointed big time.
It was a big disappointment. I mean, I'm watching, going through. I've been doing the Championship Wrestling '86 shows like for the past year now, right? And yeah, just going through and it's just like, man, the Bulldogs, they just got screwed going into WrestleMania. Like they had a better match, I think, with the Dream Team on. They had like a Saturday Night's Main Event match that was better, I think, from certain standpoints. They had one on TV a couple of weeks before this to set it up with the Dream Team. I wouldn't say it was necessarily better, but that's where it felt like they should have pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Like that was the moment when they should have won the titles.
Yeah.
Like this, they milked it too long. They didn't have the juice anymore. And really like the Bulldogs, like again, this was April, March, April, whatever, when I won it, WrestleMania 2, and I'm up to like September now, at the start of WWF Superstars of Wrestling, and it's like the Bulldogs are they're doing nothing. Like they're not feuding with anybody really. Like they've been doing rematches with the Dream Team. Like Dynamite Kid's been in and out with injuries, and it's like,
I was gonna say, is it his health that's holding him back?
And it's like Bulldogs like teaming up with like, I don't know, like Hillbilly Jim and Pedro Morales and shit on the house show circuit.
Yeah.
Doing rematches with like the Dream Team, and it's like they're not going anywhere, and it's like clearly the Hart Foundation is the team that should be getting primed to be the champions at that point, because they're getting kind of hotter and hotter, and it's just, I don't know, that whole Bulldogs reign was just a huge letdown overall, I think, and it was kind of a bad start to it as well. And like they missed the peak. Like they should have won at end of '85, like very beginning of '86, I think. And it was good. But I would even kind of like I might even make a vote for Tito Santana and Junkyard Dog against the Funks as being the best match of WrestleMania 2 in a lot of ways.
And I had it at a strong 3.5, and I had this at a weak 3 1/4.
Yeah,
I think we just went with the historical aspects of maybe the title change.
Yeah, I mean, for historical aspect, for sure. Yeah, it's an important match. It's got to be there. But like, I don't know. Just the Bulldogs were my team as a kid, and it's just the older I get, the more disappointed. And I mean, obviously now we know that Davey Boy and Dynamite didn't really get along that well, and didn't really want to be a team in the first place. And like you find all this stuff out later, and it kind of ruins it for you a little bit, I guess, as well. But I like it, but I was always let down with it.
Yep. Now you mentioned the Saturday Night Main Event match being the best match. I think the best wrestled, best chemistry clicking match was the Philly match right before the Saturday Night's Main Event, but it had the worst finishes of all finishes. They had him for an inside cradle, and then I think Johnny V runs in the ring and flips him, and then he flips them, and the ref is like occupied for about 35 fucking seconds. Oh my god, the finishes are so bad in that stretch, man. But yeah,
gotta protect everybody.
Disappointing. All right, where would you compare this to the Steiners and Head Shrinkers and Steamboat and Valentine from 4? Where would you place this one?
It's better than the Steiner match. I'd put it third from the bottom on this one for sure.
WrestleMania 9 versus WrestleMania 2. A lot of back end stuff there. All right, we got a few more comments. Who is it? Oh, Justin again. I would have gone Brett Yoko there, but Steiner's Head Shrinkers was fun. And he's like, yeah, I love The Rock Austin at 19, but having Vince above it, maybe the main, close enough. Yeah, Justin loves that Vince match. The Vince match is fun.
It's a good match, but like, yeah.
All right, up next here is one of my favorites. One of my favorites when I was younger, and that is the crowning of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Stone Cold Steve Austin era has begun. WrestleMania 14, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Scott Keith, 4 stars, and I gave it 3 3/4. I think Boston really kind of in my feels with this one. And Shawn is beat up. He's not fully Shawn mentally and physically. And
You don't
he still
say.
gets a great match out of Austin. I love it. It's just not on that tip-top Shawn scale.
Yeah.
It's just below it. Yeah.
Maybe Shawn should have used Will Ospreay's doctor, because whatever happened there, that Will's neck got healed up. Shawn could have used it for that match, because they were pretty much, Shawn was going out there, and whether he was alive or dead, they were going to put him out there in the ring, and he was going to lose that night. So hey,
What do you think of the finish with Austin? Do you think with Tyson? You think it took away from the Austin moment a little bit, or do you think?
I think it did a little bit. Yeah, no, it's Tyson wasn't. I mean, was obviously Tyson was not the right guy to be out there. As made the money and everything like that, but as a referee, no, that was not the guy to be out there and crown him. And it felt kind of abrupt. There's some great, knowing of course now what we do about how Shawn was at that point, when he was doing the crazy flip bumps, right, where he's in the corner and going upside down and landing on his head. It's oh God, how was he even walking afterwards? So I mean, I give him respect for that, and there's backstory behind it, and it's one of the most historic matches of all time, obviously, that. But I mean, it couldn't be better than it was, because Shawn Michaels just was not in any condition that he probably shouldn't. Obviously, he shouldn't even have been out there to work, right? They should have. But what else are you going to do, right? They've been building it up for 6 months, and had to go out there and do it.
Yeah, it's just the bar is so high for these two that you would expect, a little bit more. And I wouldn't take away Tyson from this build or even from the moment. Of course, box office wise, he really amplified what this could be. But I just feel like him running in the ring and really just making the count took a little bit away from the historical aspect of really Stone Cold winning, and then the knockout over kind of shadowed it a little bit too as well too. So
yeah,
Tyson stole a little bit of the shine. But all right, looking at our list where we're at, what's your gut saying to kind of supplant this one?
Put it above Shawn Diesel for sure.
Yeah.
The
15 is a good comparison, really. That's one.
It's a good comparison, yeah. Except in this case, the right guy went over. I don't know that I could have it better than Austin Rock from 15, though, as a match.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I put it in there. If you want to put it above Austin Rock, I won't hate it. But personally, I would put it a notch below that one. But I think that's where it slots right in there.
All right. We'll see. We'll see where the cards shake out at the end. But I think that's probably the correct tier. I'm probably.
Okay.
Yeah. You just have so much good memories of that match, but it's it's the substance you kind of lose a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. And we got, what is this? Justin still going off? Bulldog. Justin must be behind on the feed. Bulldogs forever. And Valentine was awesome in that match.
I can't fault Valentine. Yeah, Valentine was great. Hey, it was good effort from him. But yeah, it was just, I don't know. We've seen it 8 million times.
Yep, Valentine's twice on this list now. List. All right. The first time women are on this list, though, Scott, WrestleMania 36, the pandemic WrestleMania.
Oh, God.
Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, NXT title. What? 4 stars for Scott Keith, 4 1/4 for me. Man, this was really, really wrestled extremely well, but an empty arena.
I purged that whole period from my brain. I don't. Yeah. I never want to go back and watch it ever again. So, yeah. I don't know. It seemed like it was good. It felt like cutting Rhea Ripley off of the knees for absolutely no reason at the time.
Was it her time? I think that in retrospect, cutting her off at 36 really propelled her at 39.
Yeah.
When she beat Charlotte again. It told a good story too. This was if you're into limb work, this was really good limb work from these two girls this night. They really emphasized the stiffness in the story in the ring with no fans. It was pretty memorable in my opinion. I have it great, but how do you compare
It's so
that?
weird. I just don't know how to watch and rate those matches anymore.
Yeah.
Like the same thing when I went back and watched. I watched when I had missed one of the MT Arena Dynamites from like the early part of the pandemic. I went back and watched it. It's just like this feels like some sort of weird alien version of wrestling that I don't understand at all. And like same thing like that the MT Arena WrestleMania was just so strange. And yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how to place it, honestly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
was it great? Was it good? Was it great? I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember, honestly.
To their credit, they did the right thing by telling a great story within the movement and the wrestling and the style.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think it was good. It's just not. It's a match I'm literally never going to go back and watch again.
yeah, I think 15 and 14 are better, even though we're higher on it star-wise. Star-wise always doesn't tell the story. It's just a shorthand of what
Yeah.
that actual match is. Now, there is some equity in the story that night, as they had a much bigger match 3 years later. So there is some juice here. And it is one of Rhea Ripley's and Charlotte's best feuds. It kicks off a really good story between them. It's just the emptiness of WrestleMania. My gut tells me around 211 or underneath 14, just because.
Yeah, I feel like Shawn Diesel is like our gatekeeping match here.
Yeah.
Like is it better or worse than that match? I think technically it would be better
than the match, though.
I'd say so. I'd say that I'd put it above that. I wouldn't go any higher on it though.
All right, and I'm pretty good with that, even though technically it is probably a better match, but we'll see.
Got a lot of strikes against it though.
Yeah, so to their credit, it's not really their fault.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, I'm not blaming them, but like, yeah, it's just.
No doubt.
I hated that WrestleMania.
This is a WrestleMania I loved.
Now there's one I love. That's holy shit, dude! 4 3/4. Wow. All right, bold.
WrestleMania. I'm going to fight for it, Scott. I am going to fight for it.
Yeah. Okay.
And for you audio listeners, he's talking about Ric Flair versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. Of course, WrestleMania 8. I don't even know if it's 20 minutes, but Scott Keith, she was mine before she was yours. I think
it's got a lot. That match has got a lot going for it. I'm hey, I will say I can't go quite as high as you because it was too much bullshit in the middle, like the Mr. Perfect Gaga and shenanigans, and we didn't get the poster hanging from the ceiling of the Hoosier Dome like Mr. Perfect promised.
Yeah,
I can't forgive that.
You cannot.
I cannot.
I'm so high on it. Nostalgia plays a little bit into it. This is like when my prime years as a Ute, and man, I really do love it. I think I love the chaos. I love the Gaga. We've had these discussions before too, where sometimes that stuff takes you out of it. But if it makes sense to the story and there's some consequences to it, I'm always a sucker for it. And they had me hook, line, and sinker. Now it's definitely closer to 4.5 than 5 stars. So I don't think it's an all-time match whatsoever. But I think there's obviously this is a great match, and there's some baseline all-time stuff to it. Yeah, I stand by it. But it's like a lower end of where I had it at 4 3/4.
I mean, it's a great match. When originally I watched it at when I was living in Edmonton, we didn't have pay-per-view quite yet. Like SummerSlam '92 was the first pay-per-view we got in Edmonton. So I was watching it at like a closed circuit viewing. I can't even remember. It was like it was like the back room of like a bar or a restaurant somewhere, and I was watching it like this with an old guy. And I say old guy, he's probably like, he's probably younger than I am now, honestly. But like, he was complaining because he was like, I've seen all his Ric Flair matches when he was in the NWA, and he never lost by getting punched in the mouth and rolled up. Like, what kind of a finish was that? And he only led for about 15 minutes, and he was revved up about this, like he was a full-on Ric Flair fan. So like, maybe I got a little bit of negativity from that. But I mean, obviously, I've watched the match, dozens and dozens of times since then. It's by far one of my favorite matches from WrestleMania. Like again, not necessarily from a work standpoint, but yeah, it's that one hits you right in the nostalgia feels. Also has one of the probably I don't know if it's any better on this list. Probably has on this list the all-time best Howard Finkel and Mew call. I would say of anything that we got on here, because I can't think of any other match on here that has a better one than that. Like, because he let it cook too, right?
Oh,
Savage won the match, the brawl, and then finally once everything and then boom, like and new, it's like
Yep.
that Howard Finkel was a genius at that little touches like that
Yeah.
as well, right? That so yeah, I mean,
He's a
hey, it was great.
massive
I'd go
asset.
even up to 4.5 stars. I think on like it was a fantastic match, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's I didn't like the finish. I think they
I'll
could
stick
have.
up for the finish a little bit. I understand it where you don't have this big climactic elbow drop and
Yeah.
whatever, but the chaos really kind of deflect Flair. It's a way to
Mhm.
protect him as well too with the finish and the roll up and to get us going further as well. So
Yeah.
they weren't dead. The feud wasn't dead. Let's put it that way too. So
Yeah.
why put a nail in that coffin? I get it, and in the chaos of it all with the roll up, just that the roller coaster ending. I think
Yeah.
there's something to it as well. So
Also, Ric Flair should have lied to Vince McMahon and said that it was accidental blood, the same way that Bret Hart did. I think, right? So
yeah,
he got shit for that, of course. But
he did
got to
get
know
in
how to
trouble.
play the game.
All right, Justin says that he thinks that 14 is above 15. We'll see when we go back.
Oh, we got some controversy brewing here. Okay.
We do. All right, where would you supplant this one? I think I don't think I think it's below 21. Where would you have it compared to the
Yeah,
modern
I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna go. I'd go a notch above Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Okay.
I don't I don't think it was a better match than the Reigns match was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I'd go high on it.
Yeah. All right. There's also, there's 10 to 15 of you in here. Don't let Justin be hogging all the comments, guys. Let's hear from you. If you're new, if you're a fan of Scott from Blue Sky or whatever, chime on in. Don't be scared. We don't bite. All right. The next one is, the career versus the streak. And we
Yeah.
agreed at WrestleMania 26, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker Part 2 was a 4.5-star match. Now, I've seen a case where because of the story of Shawn's career on the line, this match was actually a better match than 25, which we'll talk about much later. I feel that with Shawn being on the line, it took away from all the drama of what 25 brought us.
Yeah,
of course,
exactly.
It was probably on scale of the 25 wrestling wise, but the uniqueness of them matching up for the first time the year before in a very long time in a PG setting, these two mythical Mr. WrestleMania Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker and the Streak benefited at 25. And I think the storyline kind of took away from the result of 26, but I don't want to take that away. 4.5 stars is all time, in my opinion. I think this is a great match, Scott.
It's a great match, but I think they got too much into their own heads with it a little bit. Like they were trying to eclipse what they did at 25, and they couldn't do it. And like they were both, obviously they both wanted to. Like you could tell, like they were going out there and they were like, we're gonna have a great match, and it's gonna be a great match, and they just. I mean, it was a great match, but we were expecting more, and they were expecting more. And like, who wants to watch Shawn Michaels lose and retire? Like I don't want to watch that. Like,
I remember not wanting it at the time either. I was,
yeah,
I was pretty locked in at this time, and I was just like, I don't want him to wrestle the Undertaker again, and I just didn't want it.
Yeah, it wasn't, just wasn't great. And it's like, and nobody wants to watch Shawn give up his career. And it's like, wow, that's, Saudi Arabia's paid them billions of dollars to bring them out of retirement. But how likely is that, right? Like, that's. But I mean, at the time, I really liked it. But yeah, I just felt like it was a letdown. Like it was just, I was expecting more. Then like it didn't have the drama. I don't feel like we knew where it was going. We knew Undertaker's not losing the streak there. We knew Shawn Michaels was time to wrap it up for him. So yeah, it was really good, but yeah, it's not the best. I'd hot take, I'd put it actually below Savage versus Flair in a lot of ways.
And I'm fine with that. Historically, I think it's a bigger. It probably Shawn retiring versus Cody return. I don't know what means more, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was probably in my opinion, 26 is an overall better match than 38. So yeah, I think that's probably good placement, right underneath Savage and Flair.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right. And up next here, Scott, is WrestleMania 33. Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles.
Huh.
Scott, you gave it 3 3/4, and I gave it 3 3/4 as well. It opened WrestleMania. I remember this is the first WrestleMania where I brought my boys. So I remember I was like, wow, that was a pretty good success for an opener. And it would go on to perhaps be arguably one of the better matches of the night. What did you think of this as an opener? And there's any significance to it historically?
I don't think there is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember that one.
Yeah.
What was the main event of WrestleMania 33?
Taker and Roman.
Oh, that one. Oh
Mhm.
my God, that's the one that was like 7 hours long and like,
Yeah. And
yeah,
this
okay.
benefited from being light out and outside in the first one before of the long dull. This is in the middle of the stretched out 5-hour WrestleManias. Now we could have
Yeah.
went Hardy Boys return here, but
Mm,
do we really want to
mm,
talk about Enzo and the Good Brothers and the Bar?
mm.
This is the only and some would say Hall of Famer AJ Styles, perhaps this is his best WrestleMania match as well, too. Oh,
Wow.
spoiler, the only one that's going to be on the list here tonight. So I think to talk a
I
little
would
bit
say
about
I would say
AJ,
this is best.
he's
I know
decent.
people shit on the Nakamura match, but I like that one. I thought the Nakamura match was pretty good, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember this match. So I would not rank this one high. I don't think, and I know I hated that WrestleMania, so not a lot of nostalgic feels for the AJ match there. God,
Yeah.
Shane got stuck in some really random stuff there in the around that area though, man. Like this, like that, and like the Hell in a Cell thing with Undertaker, and they kept trying to make Shane McMahon happen, and it just wasn't going to happen anymore.
And then the next year, he's Daniel Bryan's return partner.
Yeah.
And then the year after that, you get the Miz's dad.
And
With
the Miz, yeah. Oh man.
And then you become Braun Strowman in a cage match after skipping out the pandemic. Yeah, Shane McMahon on the mid-30s of WrestleMania, a key factor of that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
apparently, yes. Well, on the Shawn Michaels Diesel scale, I got to go lower than that. It doesn't. I'm sure it was a normal, well-worked Shane McMahon match, but I don't remember it. It didn't have any kind of significance to it. Was it
yeah.
even better than the Bulldogs Dream Team match?
We had it rated higher, but
Yeah.
we got a title change there. It's very similar to the Steiners and Head Shrinkers, but probably it was a garbage match too. I think it was like no holds bars or whatever.
I personally put Bulldogs above it, honestly. I think
All right,
just because I remember the Bulldogs match. Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'm totally fine with that. All right, we're
Let's never speak of WrestleMania 33 again. Then
moving on.
Oh boy, speaking of matches that I want to speak of again. Okay.
WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match. Shawn Michaels' boyhood dream comes to fruition, defeating Bret the Hitman Hart in 62 minutes and whatever seconds. Scott Keith 3.5. I went 3 3/4. I think we both have the same sentiment of a little disappointment with this.
A lot of disappointment. I hate this match more every time I watch it. Honestly, it's just
really
wrong type of match. It's just wrong match at the wrong time. This wasn't the match to launch Shawn Michaels. Like just making there. Bret Hart had like no interest in making him into a top tier star. Yeah. With this one, like it was. I reviewed WrestleMania 12 a couple of years ago, and I was like, that's the last time I'm ever watching this goddamn match. Now, like,
yeah.
I've watched it like a dozen times in my life. It's an hour long. I get bored of it every time. I never want to watch it again.
Well, with me, it's like, is bored bad? But when you have Bret the Hitman Hart versus Shawn Michaels, talking about having a little bit too much ideas, going a full hour with no pinfalls is a little bit too much ideas. You can look.
Yeah, the problem too is they were still a year ahead of like Ken Shamrock and the UFC stuff. So you have them going out there trying to do all this, like state of the art submission wrestling, which is fine from one regard, but the audience wasn't ready for it. The audience didn't understand what was going on. Like this, it wasn't like a Japanese audience who was going to follow this kind of stuff, right? Like we needed more pinfalls in the match, basically.
I know Justin loves it. I think Justin's pretty high on it at 4 1/4.
Somebody else looks like some.
GWPBW. I may be the only one who loves the Iron Man match. And honestly, to his point, there is a tinge of like greatness in it. Of course, there really is.
Yeah.
Look at the competitors in there, and there is a tinge of a charm to it, but ultimately, you kind of see through that, in my opinion. You could see, to your point earlier, where Brett just is not interested in this, and is he going through the motions, perhaps? And then Sean is a little bit of a dick there at the end too, as well, and
Just a little bit.
it springs a lot what would happen in '97, and I love '97. I think it's a historically great year, so there is some significance to it. Where would your gut kind of tell you to supplant this match?
Ah, let's see here. Quality wise, I mean, it was the dawn of. I think it was the dawn of the Shawn Michaels era, so I'd put it on kind of par with WrestleMania 14 as far as historic. And it was not a bad match by any means. Like the match was not bad. I just drop it lower every time because they just made some bad decisions and.
Yeah.
Four and a quarter. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told you he's pretty high on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's underrated, honestly. But hey, I'm not taking it. I like stupid stuff too. I'm not here to tell anybody that their taste in particular wrestling is wrong. So, yeah, somewhere in there. I think somewhere around WrestleMania 14, where I put it. I mean, WrestleMania 15, I liked better as a match for sure. I don't know that Austin Rock was like a better technical match or anything like that, but
yeah. And I missed this comment earlier about Sean and the career strip. Yeah, with all that being said, yeah, I'm curious when we go through it if we rate it a little bit higher on 26. Yeah. All right, but where would you put 20 or 12? I kind of, my gut's telling me, where was your gut telling you? And we'll see.
Somewhere between 14 and 15.
All right. My gut was telling me that as well. We'll put it right under the ladder match, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we'll go from there. We'll put it under the ladder match, and then when we circle back, we'll see.
Okay.
All right. We've been talking a lot of Shawn Michaels, and we're going to be talking a lot of The Undertaker as this list goes on, Scott. This is the first Triple H match on the list, but the second Triple H match, but the third match that really kind of goes together in the middle 20s, and that's WrestleMania 27, where The Undertaker versus Triple H, no holds barred, and we both agreed 4.5 stars on this one. This one was the one right before the Hell in the Cell. There are some aspects.
Oh, so this is the one with the tombstone reversal spot?
Yes.
Yeah, that match ruled.
And then the carting off. I love the story of it. This is a horrible WrestleMania, by the way. I think that's after the Jerry Lawler nonsense with Michael.
That's the Miz Cena show, right? Like that's the one with the Miz and Cena in the main event, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. But okay. Yeah.
Say what you want about Triple H. This is one of his better wrestled matches.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, I will say when they did that tombstone reversal spot, I bought it. I was like, holy shit, they're ending the streak. Triple H is going to win. So cool. Yeah. 4.5 stars, no problem.
I think we're both pretty high on this match, and I think this one is lost a little bit in time for sure.
People shit on the Triple H thing in retrospect because because of what he became and everything like that. But like, no, that match was a almost show saver. I feel like in a lot of ways. Also, there was one. I don't think it's on there anymore. I'm not sure. Like because we have them on Netflix here now. I think it was like those were Undertaker had like the Johnny Cash song. I think.
Yes.
His entrance and they had it out. That was awesome as well.
And Triple H has the Metallica through the Bell Tones.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome, awesome entrance.
Yeah, I don't know why people shit on this match. This match ruled, man. Like, come on. Yeah, great.
And Chad was there live. I don't know if you know Chad Campbell, but we're doing a WrestleMania draft where we talk about the looks and the optics and the logos and the arena. And we in WrestleMania 27 was drafted. Yeah. And Chad just talks about how incredible that scene looked with like the neon green streaks with Triple H's and the Whom the Bell Tolls. Phenomenal presentation. And I thought the build was pretty good too. And the story of Shawn 25, 26, and then Triple H trying to retake that.
Yeah,
it's the match that everyone wanted. Not really, especially for these guys at the time. The company needs star power. They need young star power. And then you have these two old veterans doing their masturbatory bullshit. But it fucking worked on this night. It was awesome.
And I'm not saying like I don't want it all the time, but no, man, that it worked absolutely.
Brandon Janeau, incredible match. And then GW again with the tombstone reversal was awesome. So he agrees to your point. All right, Scott, where do you, I might make a bold prediction here, but not too bold, not too bold. Where do you want to kind of supplant this match as we're we're about halfway through?
I'm gonna go a notch above Roman Reigns, but still not as good as the Kurt Angle match.
That's what my gut told me. Even though that's what my gut told me as well. This, good shit, pal, as they would say. Good shit, pal. All right, the next match up here is the second women's match on the list, and that is WrestleMania 32. Charlotte Flair again versus the boss, Sasha Banks, and the last kicker at the time, Becky Lynch. Scott, 3 3/4. I went 3.5. WrestleMania 32. We were just talking about all-time bad WrestleManias. That would be on anyone's list. These girls did not have their best efforts, but it was the best efforts of the night. These girls are young on in their run here. I think Charlotte had better WrestleMania matches. Becky had better WrestleMania matches, and Sasha Banks had better WrestleMania matches. But for this sole purpose of taking the best match from each WrestleMania, and this match is important too because it was presented as the Diva title is dead. It's the women's championship, and there is a lot of low-key significance to the history of this match. It's pretty important, and they just touched the bar of what it could and should be. So that's why I'm a little low on it at 3.5 and think it's very good. And
it's still they're still in like the Stephanie McMahon saved the women's division era of it, right? It's still like I'm sorry that actually that wasn't a 4-way with Bailey in there as well, considering like they're you figure that would have been like kind of a logical thing to like kind of like it was. I mean, it was certainly like a big passing the torch moment. Yeah. I feel like going from like the Bellas era and the Kelly era and like that to something that's definitively like yes, here's the next generation of these women's wrestlers who are going to carry things from here on in. So it had that going for it. For sure, but yeah, I mean, obviously, we saw way better ones later on, like the Charlotte Flair Rhea Ripley match that came years later that completely blew this thing away. So yeah, I mean, it was good. I don't have any specific memories of it, to be honest. Like from around that time, something like the Bailey Sasha match.
And you had Flair Stoogen on the outside too, as well, which is always fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to rate the importance, because it was important in the quality and it was very good. I would say the Rhea match versus Charlotte is a better match, but this one's a little bit more important. So it's just like,
yeah, I can't put it above Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels at all. No. So I would slot it. Yeah, I'd slot it above Rhea and Charlotte, but no higher than that, I'd say.
All right, and I'm pretty good with that as well. Yeah. All right, I'm going to let you simmer on this next one for a second. Because we have, because it's the first WrestleMania and we're a little distant on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're a little distant on it because we were talking about history in 32.
Yes.
I think I weighed the history of this one pretty good. I watched it last year at this time and I thought it was pretty good, and I probably gave it a tick up here where I went 3.5. You went 2.25, and that's WrestleMania 1, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff.
Yeah.
It's a 3-star house match. I understand where you're coming from. I just overrate it. I love it. I think it's presented as a big deal, and it comes across as a big deal. And they're protecting all their stars with this match as well too.
Well, I mean, obviously we know what the deal is with everything going on there. I'm just gonna because I reviewed WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania quite a few times actually.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, let's see.
I don't know where I plucked it from. I just Google. Yeah. This is the one that Google gave me, Scott.
Okay, let's see. So last time I reviewed it was in 2022.
32 WrestleMania 1. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, let's see. So last time I reviewed it was in 2022, and that's where I plucked it from. Yep, 2.25 stars. So that's where I was at. Last time I reviewed it, I did the gimmick where I just pretended it was a normal MSG house show, and
it was
and trolled people with it, and then there people getting mad reading through it, right? Because people were like, "It was like I got halfway through this before I realized what it was you were talking about here," and so yeah, it was. I mean, obviously it wasn't intended to be a great match, so like, no. There is that. I mean, I like the match. I like Mr. T's enthusiasm. It's great. It's a great spectacle as as we're seeing here right now as well. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it certainly had that. That was one where the Gaga and the shenanigans and everything like that. There's had it going for it because that's what people wanted out of it, right? Like you had to establish what WrestleMania was. It was, it was a lot of a lot,
And there's a
and
lot of importance to it. You're
and there's a
continuing
lot of importance
Piper.
to it as well. Yeah.
You're continuing Piper, even in '85. You're continuing Piper and Hogan, and you're not giving anything away there. Roddy looks like a massive star, and then you're introducing Roddy and Orndorff, with Orndorff taking the pin, and it kind of puts a friction and a fraction in cracking them. And then Mr. T with the Saturday Night Live the night before, and the buddy with Hulk Hogan and the Star Power, the A Team, all that stuff. I think it's pretty good. It's probably hard to supplant on this list, but it's extreme. Like last match we talk about, it's more important than the Divas Revolution to WrestleMania, but I would probably have it in that ballpark around
so as well.
1432. Again, this is another one that we can kind of go back on afterwards and see like what were we thinking. But yeah, you agree right there is probably.
I'd say right there's good. Yeah, somewhere in there. I'd put it. I'd go a notch above Michaels and Austin. I feel like.
I'm go with that for now. We'll see when the time comes. We'll see when
it wasn't a great match, but obviously it's one of those historically important matches of all time. So I mean, that gives it a lot of extra weight.
Yep. No, for sure. All right. And the next match here is one that you had really, really high, Scott. Really high. I was surprised when I saw your rating on this one.
That's right.
It is a really good match, and that's the main event of WrestleMania 23 here. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I went 4-star. Scott, you went 4 3/4. I had to do a double take on that one.
Yeah.
It's a great match. And I think when I wanted to see what you were thinking with that one. And I think you were like John Cena kind of like finally made it as a main eventer. He went out there with WrestleMania and he held his water pretty much.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, I mean, I was super. I mean, I wasn't quite as sick of John Cena at that point as I was later on. The other thing, excuse me, was that was really the match where Shawn Michaels showed that he was back. Like, this was, he was back and it was serious. And he was out there and he was making stars again. And it was great. I mean, they had a Raw match.
Yeah,
after that was better. So again, because I'm not Nostradamus, had I known, I wouldn't have gone as high. I don't think. I'd be fine actually watching. I might watch that show again at some point, just to see how it holds up. But I mean, I wouldn't drop it much past like 4.5. I don't think, but I might go down on it a little bit. But no, I thought the match was great. It was great drama, I thought.
Yeah, I was always higher on this match than the SmackDown match. Even though I think Batista and Taker is a very, very good match, I felt like this one just kind of outkicked its coverage, and it benefited from being in the main event slot instead of being, the middle of the show. So
I mean, I imagine that I would have been bored out of my mind if Triple H had been out there for the main of himself, right? Like, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was just happy to. It was different, It wasn't the same, it wasn't the same kind of predictable John Cena match. It was out there. He did something different with Shawn Michaels, and I thought that they had really good chemistry. I thought so. Yeah, I liked it unapologetically. I liked it. It was a good match.
I think the realization is it's John Cena's best WrestleMania match in a way. He's a guy that has a great line of work, and he has a very mediocre WrestleMania line of work. John Cena. A lot of misses. Look at Cody last year, right? Look at the last few of them. So, but this is on the higher end, and you could definitely make a case for having it be his one. Now, WrestleMania historically has been very kind to top guys, just not kind to John Cena. I don't know where I would place this one. I think because you're so high on it, and
I would go
not as high, but I don't think it's. I agree it's the best match from this Mania, but
I mean, it's the best match from the Mania. It's not historically significant in a lot of ways.
I was trying to get to,
I would go above the Iron Man match for sure.
Yeah,
it's very, I don't think that's significant. It's a ladder match. I think I'd go right. Yeah, I'd go just above the Iron Man match. I feel like personally.
Yeah, because you can kind of. There's no real significance to it, and they would go on to have their better match as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. All right, while we're in this area. Your hate on WrestleMania 4 is killing Justin.
WrestleMania 14 match.
It does look a little low. We'll address that later. All right. Up here next is WrestleMania 19. We're going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it now. And that is The Rock, Hollywood Rock at the time, versus
Hollywood Rock. That's right.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 19, the third match in the trilogy, 4.5 stars both ways. Now, Scott, WrestleMania 14, as I hit the wrong button, WrestleMania 19, we could have plucked 4 matches. We could have picked Jericho in Michaels and been fine.
Yep.
We could have took Brock and Angle and been fine. We could have even took Vince and Hogan if we wanted to get wonky and adore that craziness. But we agreed to do it this way. And I don't think it's wrong. I have this at 4.5. You have it at 4.5.
Yep.
It's a great culmination of the trilogy.
Yep.
I love
WrestleMania 19.
Gaga that absolutely fits. Go ahead.
Gaga. WrestleMania 19 was a very underrated show overall, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like it's poor Seattle, man. They got screwed and never got another one after that, and just like, yeah, that was Rock working most of the match wearing Austin's vest was amazing. Like, what a dick. Like, it was just like he just went out there and Steve Austin put him over just gigantic. Like you could not have asked Steve Austin to do a better job of going out there and making Rock into an even bigger star in that match. Like, obviously we knew now that was the end of Austin, and he just went out there and left in the ring.
Do you think Austin knew at the time that it was done?
He knew at the time. Yeah, he was. He had talked to his doctors beforehand, and he knew he was going to go out there, and it was going to be kind of this was going to be it. So yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing in that one there.
Yeah. GW says we picked the right one. Janu says his top 3 are easily. And then Janu said Cena and Orton have terrible WrestleMania matches. And
I'm no argument there, but yeah.
With the amount of volume that they have, you can't say it. And we got one too while I'm in the comments. Fantastic match. Hogan, Vince, best on the show though.
I mean, really, there's not a lot of bad choices. Like,
no one's. I don't think anyone's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 19. I love that show. Like, I love WrestleMania 19. It was really good show.
On the feed tomorrow, Aaron George, JT, Chad, and myself, we have a draft where we have 6 rounds, one draft per person each round, and we draft the best WrestleManias. Do you think WrestleMania 19 was a first-round draft pick?
Pretty close, I'd say.
Yeah. Tomorrow. No spoilers for tomorrow, but that is out tomorrow morning. And no, I do not have WrestleMania 19 as my best one. We'll talk about the best WrestleMania afterwards. WrestleMania 19 was a top 5 pick, so we'll see where it lands in the first or second round.
Yeah.
It really is a great WrestleMania, but as I transition to putting it on the list, how important is WrestleMania 19 historically?
Not very, unfortunately. I mean, it's important in the sense that this was the end of the Austin Rock feud, covering all those years. The match itself, it didn't really lead to anything. Rock was already a huge star as it was, so it's not like Austin was passing the torch to him completely either. So I'd detract from that a little bit, but I'd put it above the Roman Reigns match for sure.
Okay.
Maybe the Triple H match, somewhere in there, I'd say.
All right. I think once we talk
I'd go in there. That seems fair.
Well, once we talk 17, I feel like
there's an even better match coming up, right? So
we'll have a better digestion on where we put 15 and 19, I feel like. Yeah. All right, before we get there, we're going to Atlantic City for the second time, and the mega powers exploding. WrestleMania 5, the Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Immortal Hulk Hogan. I went 3 3/4. Scott, you went 3 lonely stars. How much of the main event finish kind of skewed your rating there? Because I know we've talked about this historically in the past where you hated the finish, the result.
Yeah, I hated the result. Here's the thing. I've seen a lot of Hogan Savage matches in my life. A lot. And I don't know. This one was one of the lesser ones for sure. You had the bored gamblers sitting in the audience, not not really into the match. Like this should have been like a freaking like stadium match. You know, they should have had like 40,000 people out there like screaming for Savage's blood. Like Savage had nuclear heat after
Yeah.
that heel turn, man.
And
Like
the
he
feud is
was
phenomenal. The Mega Powers,
the feud
it's
is
an
phenomenal.
all-time feud.
Yeah, and they go out there for like, you know, the Atlantic City, like, you know, bored gamblers and businessmen, and it's a sold show, and it's just like it just doesn't feel like the right thing. Like they even putting like, you know, like in a Boston Garden or something like that, right? Put it out there
Yeah.
with that, and like one of those matches where it's just like even one of them with like a shitty DQ finish, but they're going out there and they're having like a 4-star match, and it's just crazy stuff. And this felt kind of like they had a bunch of their matches, and they're kind of like going through the motions, and kind of killed Savage a little bit. I'm still hot take. I still think if I had a time machine, I'd go back and I'd have Savage like win by DQ and stretch it out for another pay-per-view, because man, they had the heat. They had the heat. Why would you get the heat like that?
The plan was the plan, brother, and he must.
I know the plan was the plan, and it doesn't work for me, brother. But man, they should have. I still think that they should have milked it for another one. SummerSlam.
I think there's enough meat on the bone here to be very good of a match still. I think that the characters are so larger than life, and there's so much substance that even though if the crowd was not as electric as you thought, I think in the modern time, 1989, the viewership, the investment at home, really, you can kind of supplant yourself in those shoes and be like, wow, this is very good stuff. I think I'm a little bit high on it at 3.25. I could never go 4 because I don't think it's great. I think it's very good. And that's why I jumped it up a little bit past the 3.5 star mark.
Yeah. Poor Savage out there though, with like the staph infection on his arm, man. Like that was,
oh yeah, he's all bandaged
up. Gnarly. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some historical substance to it. I look at WrestleMania 6 over or under that.
I would put it under WrestleMania 6.
All right. Now, the next threshold is WrestleMania 1. I think this is a better match. I think we both
better match than WrestleMania 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, like I say, it was the blow off of one of the biggest storylines in wrestling history. So you have to give it that. But like,
so if that's our range from 6 to 1 here on our list, where does your gut kind of tell you to supplant it? Because I think you would say that those matches in between are very similar.
I'm more apt to watch that match than I am to watch the Iron Man match ever again. So I'd even put it above the Iron Man match. I'd say even.
Okay, right above it.
Right above it.
Yeah, I'm good with that for now.
I'm never going to argue with watching a Randy Savage match again, but like, that's.
All right, I'm curious your thoughts here on this one. If you remember it, what you thought of it, and we're both kind of close, but I think in the moment I overrated it a little bit here, and that is 4 3/4 to your 4.25, and that is Daniel Bryan, your Eco champion, versus Kofi Kingston in Kofi Mania WrestleMania 35. Now, earlier I said that WrestleMania 23, John Cena and Shawn Michaels benefited from going last. These guys benefited from going in the middle of the show because WrestleMania 35 just ended a few hours ago, and the crowd was definitely not fatigued here. This is one of the WrestleManias where I was at with my boys, and this was extremely, extremely well received. I think maybe the live experience had me closer to where I'm at than you are, but we both think this is baseline great stuff. Historically, there's really not much substance, though.
Yeah, I mean, Kofi Mania was a fun idea. Unfortunately, it never really panned out for him. And of course, we know how it ended. So it was
stayed a little bit too long, in my opinion. But
stayed a little bit too long and ended in humiliating fashion with the Brock Lesnar thing. I think the Eco champion with Daniel Bryan had more meat on the bones. Yeah. I think they actually could have gone longer with it as well. Yeah, but no, I mean, hey, it's it was certainly a great match. They went out there and Kofi showed that he could hang, so that was great. He had his moment. I can't take that away from him. It's not. I don't find it a super memorable match. Obviously, Bryan had many other more memorable moments.
You think Kofi Kingston, you think like the 3-star special in a way, right? But Bryan brought a next level out to him, and Bryan obviously laid it out let it and made sure Kofi succeeded. And Kofi lived up to that hype within that in-ring structure. I don't think they went on any over 20 minutes. I think it was just baseline 18 to 19, 20 minutes. So that's a really, really good formula for them. Admittedly, I'm a little bit high on this. Where would you look at this list now, kind of Taker 26, Cody Rhodes 38. Where do you kind of think? It's not as important as Hogan and Warrior. Yeah.
I'd put a notch under Hogan Warrior, I think.
Yeah. I think that's
a better match than some of the stuff that's below it, but it doesn't have any kind of significance.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and that's on that. But they're void of a lot of star power in 2019, so they went with an idea, but afterwards they half-heartedly went with that idea. And speaking of void of star power, I love this match. It's hard to talk about, but in 2004 they were void of star power at top, and they went with Chris Benoit. 5 stars for me, 5 stars for you. The triple threat, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 20 with Triple H as well. We're really high on it, Scott, but historically, it's kind of hard to rank and supplant and talk about. But in that moment, if we can put everything aside, in that moment in 2004, what an unbelievable time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
it's hard.
It's tough to watch now. It's hard to watch. Yeah. I have trouble with that whole era. I mean, I can watch other Benoit stuff, but I was so personally involved in 2000, at that point, and wrapped up in it, and keyed into what was going on backstage and everything, and it was.
Are they going to pull one down from him? Backlash is in Edmonton. Are they going to kind of not give him his moment in Madison Square Garden and prolong it? So there was another added layer to it. Shawn is incredible in this match. Shawn, you want to talk about WrestleMania moment? Shawn tightened his fucking boots, and kudos to Triple H too as well. I love the white boots from Triple H this night, and Triple H, similar to 27. He was really on this night too. Things clicked. It's a legit 5-star match. It's a
legit 5-star match. It's just so problematic to watch to go back now, right? And it's an amazing match. It should have been a great moment, and it just kind of unfortunately got ruined. And that makes it tough.
Yeah, I would probably put it under 27, and then if you want to compare it to 19, we'll see. But I think. I don't know. I think there's a little bit more with the Triple H Undertaker at 27 historically.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I would. It's absolutely a better match than Austin Rock at 19, but just too much baggage around it.
Yeah, just is what it is. But Triple H, Shawn Michaels, throw them their flowers for that night because they made the dude, right?
So they sure did.
Another 3-way here, back to back. One from last year. Now. In the moment, I thought it was phenomenal, and it is the kickoff. And in retrospect, it was the kickoff division. That is Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, with Paul Heyman pretty much on a pole. Let's just put it that way. There was a lot of male soap opera-ish vibes to it, but man, all that put aside, these guys fucking brought it. Roman Reigns was on at WrestleMania 37. He was on last year. CM Punk. Incredible moment here, getting his flowers, getting his main event, and the entrance and everything. And he was a little bit overwhelmed, but he was still in that ring. He was CM Punk. And then Seth Rollins. It was a night to make Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, is he on the level of Punk? Is he on the level of Reigns? They keep throwing him down our throats at that main event level. Personally, I do not accept or agree or whatever that Seth Rollins is on that level. Imagine WrestleMania 42 this year, part 2, Roman and Punk. But last year, it was, the result of Seth being in there. Of course, the build was good, but ultimately, look how we're talking about WrestleMania 15, 17, 19. I think Roman and Punk have that equity and have that star power to have a trilogy. And just to supplant Seth Rollins in here, it's like supplanting Mick Foley, but not as good as Mick Foley at 15. I got a lot of warts with Seth Rollins being in this match, but everything aside, they went out there and kicked ass. Seth Rollins is a great wrestler. I just don't feel that his character, his presentation should be on that level of Roman or Punk or whatever. But
I never got into Seth as a top guy. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, Punk is Punk. I mean, I got the shirt right.
I love Punk.
Yeah, I still love Punk. I mean, uh, I don't know. People think that I'm like, I think people think that like after he left AEW that I like I bust on him or something. It's like I don't know. I love CM Punk. I've always loved CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like it's great, good for him. Like I'm glad he's still going out there and making money and doing the thing. And yeah, I thought the match really delivered. I thought Reigns and Punk had really good chemistry. I thought it was like early on in the match. I was like, I'm not entirely buying it. And then they just went out and just brought it, and they won me over.
They won us over for sure. We have it just under 5. I think it's pretty similar to 37, but I think 37 was probably a little bit more successful, if that makes sense. And then I don't know if I want to put it above Flair and Savage. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I think it's above 26. Where are you at with my estimation? Where we kind of
I thought it was really good. Yeah, I wouldn't put it above Flair and Savage, honestly. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it.
All right. Oh,
yeah.
All right. Good stuff, though. I think this year is going really well for them. But can you imagine if it was part 2? Like that's where Seth Rollins had to happen. And what had to happen was Ronda Rousey in 2018, Scott.
Speaking of problematic.
Yes, no doubt. Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, not so problematic in 2018 versus Stephanie fucking McMahon. Shane and Stephanie are on this list tonight. And Justin, we didn't put Vince. I'm sorry. But Stephanie and Triple H, mixed tag, WrestleMania 34. 4.5 stars I gave it. You gave it 4.25. I think if like the bar was here, I think they totally surpassed it. This is a fun, forgotten about match, in my opinion. I think it's all of the legitness that I gave it. I love it.
Oh yeah, I didn't think Ronda Rousey was gonna like translate to pro wrestling, and she totally did. She got it. She's one of the ones who went out there and just like the same kind of way that Logan Paul did, right? Where it was like, oh, this is just like a celebrity going out there and playing it. She was all in for it. She was just like, okay, boom, let's do this. Let's do the pro graps. And like, she
good. Yeah,
she was so good. She had chemistry with Stephanie McMahon. It's crazy.
Stephanie as that like bitch that night too was really, really good. And then like the power couple like traits that they had worked really well. And Kurt was a year before they made him retire, and he was pretty deliverable too. Again, if they were searching for here, they got up here. But historically,
it's a super fun match. It's not like a lot of historical significance. I mean, I'd probably put it a notch above the Dudley Boys triangle match.
Yeah, that's
it wasn't as good a match, I don't think, as the Kofi Kingston match, but it way over delivered for sure.
But I think the Kofi Mania is a little bit more important than Ronda Mania.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't really succeed, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. And to our point, Justin, WrestleMania 34 mixed tag was a forgotten classic, one of Triple H's best performance from a selfishness perspective. Yes. Good surmise right there. All right. We're rolling here. We're almost getting there. We're about a third of the way left, and that is WrestleMania 24.
Mm-hmm.
Edge and The Undertaker in the main event. Now, I went 4 stars. You went 4.25, Scott.
I'd go lower now.
Okay. Now, WrestleMania 24 is similar to WrestleMania 19. Obviously not as good, but from an aspect where we could have picked any 4 matches.
Yeah.
I have it as a weak 4 stars. I took your highest grade from that night and supplanted it here.
Yeah, that was definitely a match where Edge was not. I mean, Edge obviously would refine what he did even better. Not much later after that, but I mean, like, it's just, I don't know. It was I didn't give him any kind of chance of breaking the streak on that night. It felt like a good big time world title match, but I mean, obviously the result was never in doubt. And I don't know. I didn't buy into it as big time match. And if I went back and watched it again, I'd probably go a little bit lower on it, I think. I don't know. It was
I personally enjoyed HBK and Flair a little bit more. I got all caught up in the nuance of it all and the importance of it. And I thought
Yeah.
Flair deserved the flowers that he got that night. And what a carry job by Shawn. Not that Flair needs to be
Yeah.
carried, but 50.
I think really that match overshadowed everything else on the show to the point where,
Yeah.
it's like you barely remember Edge and Undertaker in
Yeah.
retrospect now
And it's
because of
funny
it.
that they laid that this was laid out last. Like, I don't think you can go 3-way, and I don't
Yeah.
think you can go Mayweather, even though Mayweather was a success, in my opinion, for what it was. But
Yeah.
it was weird that they didn't put Flair and Michaels here. Maybe I'm curious the science and the thinking behind, not the science, but the thinking of the minutia with all that.
I think they think that the Undertaker streak was the selling point. And like fair about like, yeah, it was just, yeah, like the Cena, the Cena 3-way was in there. Yeah. Like and Flair Michaels, obviously in retrospect, yeah, they should have just ended that because nobody was going to be able to follow it.
Yeah. And then historically, there's not much importance to this one. It's a part of the streak. It's a blimp on the radar. And the Undertaker kind of gets his golden watch winning the title again. This is similar to like the Batista match, but I feel like the Batista match may be a better version of it. But this one had the landscape and benefit for being last. Where would you look at the list and kind of supplant this? I think 23 is a better match for sure.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm gonna go. I would actually go. Historically speaking, I don't know. I'd even put the Mega Powers above it a notch.
Yeah. How about the Iron? Is this significantly
Above
better
the
than
Iron
Iron
Man, though,
Man?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Are we too
Yeah.
low on WrestleMania 14 while I'm here?
We could probably put it up a notch. Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm moving it up a little bit.
Let's move it up.
We'll move it up a little bit. We'll talk about it later, but yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, yeah, to Justin's point a little bit there.
Yeah.
All right. Up here, like I said last time, we're almost there. Very historically important,
there we go.
in my opinion. This list just got some kerosene here, and that is WrestleMania 10, the ladder match. Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, 5 stars both ways. Scott, this was watched for me. Me and Justin just did the last live YouTube me and Justin did was this gimmick, but intercontinental title matches, and we had this 1 or 2, and yeah, it's really incredible. Not a lot of consistency that you would see in ladder matches nowadays. They told a true story with that ladder, and I believe they didn't climb it until they needed to.
Oh yeah, exactly. They're working out a lot of a lot of what there wasn't really like the ladder match formula that was around that. Like this was the match where they were figuring it out, right? And they were they were trying to do it. And like and there was the point where like Diesel's at ringside, and you have and Hebner was the referee, and it's like, oh, we're gonna have some stuff, and then he just got thrown out, and the referee disappeared, and they just went out, and they got the focus on them. For me, this was a really interesting match.
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of reasons, but for at the time when I was watching the show, it was a match where I was like, oh man, Razor Ramon won. He was really great in this match. Like, this is all about Razor Ramon. And then a few years later, when I really got smartened up, I watched the match again, and it totally changed the perspective of the match because I'm watching it and I'm like, holy shit, Shawn Michaels is going out there and he's doing all this stuff to get to make Ramon look good. And it made for a really interesting switch in the perspective from somebody watching as a fan of Razor Ramon to becoming somebody who's watching as a fan of Shawn Michaels, and kind of like the nuts and bolts and behind the scenes stuff that was happening with the mechanics of the match. So I mean, it's fascinating on a lot of levels, and obviously one of the most historically significant matches of all time.
Yeah,
and basically creating a ladder match as a form. That
too, right? What him and Shawn and Brett had one in like Maine or something, and at the end of '92. So it's funny that Brett brings it to the lexicon of the WWE, but they don't give it to him. But these two guys were the right guys for it. And to Razor's credit, he took some gnarly bumps right off the rip in this match.
Yeah.
exposing the concrete. Even when he did the clothesline over the top rope right away, you could see the velocity in. He was really determined to go out there and have a great match, and they truly did. All right, are you going to agree with the sentiment here? Number one on the list, GW.
Number one with a bullet. There's nothing else that's even close right now.
Number
sure.
one from Justin as well too. I think we can talk about it as we go to compare to others, perhaps, but right now.
Also astonishing that there was another 5-star match on the show and wasn't even really in consideration.
And honestly, to this match's credit, I don't think we honestly even
not even a debate. Yeah.
We didn't even think of taking the double heart match. This one
exactly. Yeah.
And this one is the next match here is similar as well. As you could have took another match from WrestleMania, including Daniel Bryan, but we went with the opener, and that is Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. Scott, I had it 4.25. You had it 4 stars. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great way to tell this Daniel Bryan story at WrestleMania 30 to open up with this match. The authority of the authority at this point is down your throat.
Yep.
But this is the culmination of it to kind of really blow up and make Daniel Bryan. And honestly, this is one of Triple H's bell-to-bell better matches, hence Daniel Bryan's in there. I know we're both pretty high on him. But to Triple H's credit, he was no slouch that night, and he really, really brought it.
Nope, he went out there and did the business and put him over in a great match. Yeah, for sure. I can't fault anything about that. I mean, obviously, at the time, we were all sick of the authority, and and it was time. It was time to do something with Daniel Bryan. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out very well with injuries. But that's not much you can do about that.
Now, historically, how does this lay? Is it is it less historically? Is it important historically?
I think the moment was bigger than the match because most people don't remember this match specifically. They remember the moment of him celebrating the belts at the end of the show in the main event. Yeah.
But to its match credit, the story was really good in between the bell. And I think they went really long to tell that Bryan story. I think they almost go 30 minutes, honestly. And that is a way to tell the Bryan story, right? Of triumphance and Triple H bullying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
See, that first clump I have above it, but I don't want to underrate. I don't want to put this down too low because I want to stick up for it to some extent. Where would you kind of look at this list and place it?
I'd put it above the Kofi match.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put it above Cody and Seth Rollins. I really did like that match a lot. I'd go a notch above Hogan Warrior, I'd say. For me.
Okay. And I'm good with that. I think Justin's going to jump on the screen and yell at us, but I think that's
a chance I'm willing to take. Yeah, that's fine.
That's I've kind of bickered a little bit with Justin, thinking that he overrates this match because he's in the comments here. Number 2 at this point, 5 star, great story. It is a great story, but I just think he's amplifying a little bit too much on the success of that match. And Justin, historically, like us, is a little lower on Triple H too. So I don't know if he's trying to prop up or feels bad for Triple H, thinking it's his best match, so he should present it. But yeah, I think it's in this tier in ballpark of what's that now? Whatever. So
yeah, all right, that's fine.
We'll see how it goes. And then GW, the lowest rating I've seen for a match, I think. So
I mean, Bryan had much better matches, I thought. So I don't know. I wouldn't stick up for this one in particular as a bad thing. Like wasn't as great as like the Cena match at SummerSlam or anything like that. So
yeah. All right. Now this one is my comfort food. This one I will go to war with. This one is outrageously awesome. I don't know. I fucking adore this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't know what else to say. I just love it. It's only 13 minutes, mind you. And for the audio listeners, is Mick Foley versus Edge hardcore match, WrestleMania 22. Scott 4.25. I went 4.5. I think I'm too low at 4.5. I love it. I fucking love it. It's a brawl. The definition of garbage brawl awesomeness. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I had my Rey Mysterio soap that I thought we were going. I was almost thinking it was going to be the 3-way from that show that was going to be.
That's only like 9 minutes.
I know. Yeah, no. Hey, I can't fault it. Mick Foley was on like a comeback at that point. No, and yeah, that was one during the time when for sure Edge was reinventing himself, and and Mick Foley went out there and and
Much
pretty much
needed,
made him right.
yeah,
Yeah, so
much needed
yeah,
toughness and grit added to the Edge character that night, I
yeah,
thought.
yeah, for sure. Just like Mick Foley went out there and made Randy Orton like a
Yep.
couple in 2004, right? So
Yeah.
moral of the story: Mick Foley is a really good professional wrestler. Is what I think is we should all take away from this.
Historically, not the best WrestleMania resume. This is
Yeah,
easily his best WrestleMania match. So I'm glad he was able to get on the list. But historically
yeah,
as well, I'm very, very high on Mick Foley, and I think he's extremely underappreciated.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I was all about Edge in 2006. Uh, the Edge and Lita combination was just fantastic. Like I was like that was a sadly underrated. He got screwed over. He should have been world champion for longer with that. Like the
yeah,
whole
got a
live
little,
sex show thing should have carried the juice for like a year and a half.
we got a little Triple H on that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so there is some significance to this match, but I don't think it weighs WrestleMania historic significance. I think the arena really benefited this match as well.
Yeah,
With the ravenous crowd and the hardcore craziness, probably wouldn't have played as much to an arena, or not
hmm
to a stadium opposed to arena. So I think a lot of factors play into this. Where would your gut kind of tell you to look at with this one?
that one I would put that one probably between Cody Rhodes and then the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match. I feel like it's a better match than the Cody match in a lot of ways, but I think the Shawn Undertaker match is a better match overall. I feel like so I'd be right there. That's where I'd be comfortable putting it.
Yeah, like I think it's phenomenal. I do. I think the pushback is at the end of the day, it's only 13 minutes, and I understand
Yeah,
like the pace and the chaos and the hardcore vision that they had. 13 minutes is fine, but they, still structure wise, we're still stuck in a 13-minute vacuum. Probably told more of a story at 26, told more of a story at 41, and of
yeah,
course, Flair told more of a story at 8. Right, so I think this is probably its ceiling as well,
yeah.
unfortunately.
I'd say so.
All right, next. Oh, baby. Now this is going to be a unique one to talk about. One of my modern favorites, all-time WrestleMania. We were talking about earlier this WrestleMania draft we got coming out. This was a
Mm,
top. This was a top 2 round pick. This is a top 8 pick for sure. WrestleMania 39. WrestleMania 39, like 19, like 24 earlier. This is the high scale of beautifulness to take from. You could have taken 4 matches from a 4.5+ standpoint, and that is what we decided was the IC 3-way. I'm going to show you the graphic again. We both had it at 5 fucking stars.
very easy 5-star match for sure. Yep.
Easily. My goal with 5-star matches is you got to kind of say it right away. You got to feel it right away when you watch it. At the completion of that, I was going off 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Classic. Loved it. Needed everything about it.
Yep.
But the only thing is, how historically significant is it? That's the pushback a little bit, in my opinion.
I mean, Gunther's Intercontinental title reign was, of course, very, very significant, and becoming the longest reigning of all time. So there was that. I feel, Sheamus got kind of a raw deal at the end there. Like he was going out and he was having some banger matches. Like
Yeah.
I don't even like is he retired now? I don't even know what's up
No,
with him
he's
exactly.
taking a little step away, I think.
Yeah, like I thought him and his brawling bruisers or
Yeah,
whatever was
they,
it.
they're disbanded for quite a bit of time here.
Yeah, like that was an underrated gimmick. I thought I really enjoyed that whole phase. That
Yeah,
he
they were
was,
great in that War Games
yeah,
match.
yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, no, I thought that was a whole great thing, and yeah, like Drew McIntyre had just been like, Drew just keeps finding other gears to
Yeah.
come in and this kind of role. So yeah, no, I thought it was a fantastic match. I wouldn't put it up past the ladder match or anything like that, but
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
yeah,
The
like
ladder match is above it. I do
yeah,
think
they went out there and they just beat the shit out of each other, and I appreciate that sometimes. Like
it was needed to stand out on a WrestleMania that had a bunch of great to phenomenal matches. They
yeah,
stood out uniquely in their own way, and it's the style that I like best, right?
yeah,
So, and I really like Gunther. He's probably my most favorite modern guy for
yeah.
now.
I would
definitely think it's 010. Where do you feel?
I would put it number 2 right now on the list. Yes, I
Okay,
can't put it above the ladder match, but I really I love that match for sure.
all right. Well, it just proves how awesome it was, because there's not much historical. There's some baseline historical significance, but it doesn't have the baseline historical significance that other matches on this list have. So
yeah, exactly.
all right. Again, I'm pretty high on this match. I think it's really, really good. And I think it was the perfect time in the Undertaker stretch to kind of go out there and have a different, unique match. And that's with like an underneath, quote unquote, smaller guy. And that's WrestleMania 29, CM Punk. 4.5 stars for me, 4 stars for you. This is a bad WrestleMania, but these guys stole the show. It was presented as a triple main event. My ass. These guys crushed it. Lesnar and Triple H was presented as a bigger match. And then the second Rock and Cena match was, of course, going to main event, but really no one wanted to see it, to be frank. Right?
It's funny. Yeah, exactly. They should have left that one. Should have left it at 1 with that one. But I mean, they had to. They had to do the rematch.
His
I don't know.
Historically, he had a chip on his shoulder. Undertaker brought it. This is probably the last legs of the Undertaker as well. Where do you feel we put this match?
I hated the build-up, though. I hated the thing with the ashes and everything like that. I did not like that at all.
I can see the bad taste in that, yeah.
There was some bad taste in it. The match was really good. I think it was a little too late in Undertaker's career for CM Punk to be able to go out there and carry him to something that was top tier. But he really tried, and I really, Paul, Punk as the Heyman guy, that was kind of a magic combination, I thought. So they brought that. So yes, it was really. Yeah, it was a great match. I thought, I don't know, for me, like just the bad taste surrounding it took it down somewhat, I thought.
All right. Well, would you compare it to 26? No.
Yeah, it's not as good as 26, I don't think.
Let me see if there's another Undertaker. How about Edge? I think it's probably better than Edge.
I think it's better than Edge. Yeah, for sure better than Edge. I would say I put it above that. Yeah.
All right. How would you compare it to the 34 mixed tag match? Because that's like the same wavelength.
I'd say it's because it was presented as a main event match. I'd put it a little bit higher than that. I don't think it's Hogan Warrior or worthy or anything like that. I'd go Knoxville Hogan Warrior if I'm slotting in there. I feel like.
All right, Kofi and Bryan, was it a better match?
It's hard to say. I can go either way on that. So I'm okay where it is, I think.
Perfect. All right, we got a new contender, in my opinion, Scott. We're gonna have to talk about this one. WrestleMania 7, career-threatening match. 5 stars for me, 4.5 for you. The Ultimate Warrior versus the Macho Man, Randy Savage. You've gushed eloquently about Savage this whole list.
Yes.
I
continue to gush, but yes, I couldn't rate the 5 stars on it. I feel like the 5 elbow drops kind of was a dumb move, honestly.
I thought that too, but we just on the show that you're on a bunch, NoSo, we just went over it, and I was at the same sentiment with you. With the 5 elbow drops is a little bit too much, but Savage does pause before the 5th, and I thought Savage's whole goal that match was, from a character standpoint, was to humanize the Ultimate Warrior.
Sure.
And for him to pause in that aspect, I kind of talked myself into the pause justifying the 5th elbow drop to give the Warrior that jolt of like warriorism or whatever, not to go too wonky or goofy or down a cartoonish lane, because I don't want to add any cartoonish aspects to this match, because I think the story is incredible. I think it's a great presentation for what it is.
For me, this is like the culmination of like almost a Shakespearean storyline, going from the mega powers and like the destruction of Macho Man to the redemption of the Macho Man, and he finally gets Elizabeth back, and like his career is over, but he goes off and becomes a even bigger baby face, and then comes back the next year and wins a world title. I mean, God, it's fantastic stuff. It's by far one of my favorite matches of all time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. Just the finish was really weird and out of nowhere. I thought this was kind of like after all that, like it felt like the crowd wasn't expecting it. with
Yeah.
the kind of like the pin with 1 foot and everything like that. And like, so I would
I
fault
just
that a
thought he
little
was
bit.
dead. I thought with the pin with 1 foot, I think it was the Undertaker, or not the Undertaker, the Macho Man kind of realizing that he gave it all he had. He was frantic that whole night to stay ahead of the pace of Warrior and to
Yep.
really humanize the Warrior, but he realized that the Macho King humanized himself and he was at peace with it. And that's
Sure.
why that's what I took away from it as well. I understand why you'd want to ding it. I'm going to stick up for a little bit.
Okay.
GW here in the comments.
I'm
New
I'm
number
not a
one. New
new
number
number one.
one.
Oh, come on, man.
And new number one. No Howard Finkel. Is Howard Finkel going to put you over the edge there with
Okay.
GW?
Okay. I can go above the Gunther match. I will happily grant that because I'm happy to stand for the Macho Man, no matter what. But I can't put it above the ladder match. I'm not a monster.
And I agree. I'm all right with it. I'm all right
So
with it.
we'll go number two.
I'll go with it number two. I'm content. I'm
I
content with
suspect there might be a couple coming up though that knock it down for me, but we'll see.
it. You don't say.
Oh, you don't say. Yeah.
You don't say. It's funny how this quote unquote randomized list on my end is laying out here, Scott.
Yes.
All right, WrestleMania 25, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, 5 stars both ways. We talked
Yeah.
about it a little bit earlier where WrestleMania 25 benefited from, not having the career on the line. And really, Mr. WrestleMania versus the presented Mr. WrestleMania, Undertaker. You got the undefeated streak. Well, I got the performances. I'm really WrestleMania. I'm going to take your streak. And
Yeah.
I think this match is phenomenal. I really
Match
do.
is phenomenal. I wish they hadn't had this the stupid stuff with JBL in the months leading up to it. Like,
Oh, where he was his butler or whatever.
yeah, like, yeah, his bad investments or whatever it was. It's like, man, there was better ways to get where we got from here. But
I'll
like,
forever stick up for JBL. I like JBL. I don't know.
I mean, the man knew how to be a heel, right? Like his whole thing was I do not want any human being ever to cheer for me in any way. And it's like mission accomplished, buddy. So
Yes.
like, yeah,
Just open up your mouth. You'll be fine, brother.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, my God, there was some near falls in this match where I nearly had a heart attack. I swear, like, whew, man, yeah, like there's a couple of the yeah, like and like the finish where he tries the springboard and like Undertaker catches him in tombstones. I'm like, oh my God, that was just so great.
It was Sean. We kind of nicked him a little bit earlier for going over the top on ideas. If it's 11 with the sandbagging, or even if it's 21 with the ankle lock. And I think there was one more where we talked about him going over the top with ideas. That springboard, moonsault, tombstone was a risk, and they crushed it.
They crushed it.
They crushed
Absolutely. And the dive and just like legendary stuff. Like
Sim Snuka getting like
Sim
the camera,
Snuka,
like
exactly. Yeah.
That's a risk there too. That guy was a jabron.
Yeah.
Where would you have it? It's top two. It's top two.
Oh boy. I'm gonna go number one for now.
We'll move past it and we'll revisit it.
We'll revisit. I mean, I think we know where we're going number one, but we'll for me at least. But we'll see.
The third part of the trilogy. I'm extremely high on this match, and I'm well aware of that. I love the violence. I love the angst and the energy from both guys trying to prove dominance, that they are the guy of the Attitude Era. This match, you could say, is the end of the Attitude Era. And that's WrestleMania 17.
Yep.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Again, 17 is a WrestleMania that is going to be drafted in the first round in our draft coming up tomorrow. And that goes without anyone's surprise. Scott Keith, I have this at 5 stars. Admittedly, probably a little high. But still, 4 3/4. Your rating is.
The only thing I docked it for was Vince McMahon's interference. I thought that's yeah. I mean, like the finish though is really interesting. Like what a ballsy finish, right? Like just Austin smashing him with the chair over and over in frustration and pinning him, right? Like there was. Yeah, it was. I think it took away from the flow of the match a little bit because like they're building to a crescendo and then just like but
the flow was incredible leading up to it. You could and this is at the height of their star power. Steve Austin is incredible in 2001, and then The Rock is just shows where he was at 2 years ago and where he's become as a star. I
Yep.
really love the energy here. Yeah, WrestleMania's truther. I personally think it's their best match. I do. Between the two. We'll
The
start
argument can
there.
certainly be made. Yes.
We
Yeah. I
will
feel,
start.
I feel like yes, it's definitely their. I think it's their best match overall. I feel like yeah, if the finish was a little bit better, if turning him heel wasn't such a bad idea that completely tanked the promotion, I think you go higher. But
A little
yeah,
ballsy. We'll put it that way.
yeah, a little ballsy. It was definitely ballsy. I feel like it's number 2 overall though. Is where I was slotted right now. So,
Ooh, you
and I mean
have your
obviously
well.
WrestleMania 7. I go 2 overall. Yeah, I mean WrestleMania 17 obviously best WrestleMania of all time.
Okay.
That is a hill I will die on, I'm sure. So
It's not a lonely hill. We'll put it that way.
yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously Steve Austin heel turn, right? Like you can't argue with the history behind the match.
All right, let's lay it out there for now. All right, this one you could say is a little ballsy too in modern time for a finish as well. These guys were cooking with gas, honestly. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 31, excuse me, and then this would lead to the heist of the century. Let me put it back up. I went 5 stars, Scott. Again, one that I'm probably overrating, like 17 a little bit, but again, 4.5 is no slouch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think in the time and right now, do you think it was the right move to go Seth Rollins cash in over going with Roman Reigns?
I mean, you certainly can't argue with the end result of it because I mean Roman, like they didn't know at the time, but Roman was not far away from finally clicking and figuring it out for good.
Yeah.
So I mean, it didn't hurt in the long run. I believe this is when where Sika famously complained.
Mm-hmm.
When is it his time, right? So yeah, of course his time was still to come.
I think
and Brock Lesnar still had some juice in it as well. So yeah, it's obviously very very historic Money in the Bank cash in as well.
Probably the best Money in the Bank cash in, honestly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, probably was. So yeah, there's a lot going for it. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the Paul Heyman booked, Brock Lesnar throwing guys around thing, and Roman was
really really good in that. Brock was really
good. Yeah,
I think it warrants the 5 stars, and you're pretty close as well. There's definitely some historical significance of it. Do you think it's better than 39? Do you think 39 is just straight out better? Even though with the historical significance of the cash-in and of Roman and Brock and all that.
I mean, I still really liked Brock Lesnar at that point.
Yeah.
I got really sick of him afterwards, but I think at that point, Brock I thought as a top guy who was in there. I actually think this one would be better than 39. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So
I was
going to start there and then move down, but if you think so,
I think so. I put it at about the same level.
Yeah. All right, we'll see where we're at once we. Again, I think this is underrated historically. So, yeah, we'll see.
We'll give it a go.
All right, we're just nothing but bangers the rest of the way, Scott. By the way, nothing but bangers the rest of the way, and I think I benefit from being live here, being up in the crowd for this one. I had floor seats for night 1, and I was really cold, so then I flipped it and went up in the sky for night 2, and I had a better experience. But I think that experience is the culmination of this match here. That's WrestleMania 40. The finish the story. Part 2, yeah. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. I have it at 5. You have it at 4.
People give me shit because I didn't like it as much. I concede I was burned out on the show by that point. I feel like I was kind of burned out on Roman, so I definitely I could be wrong and I could be too low on it. Absolutely.
There is a lot of historical significance here. Of course, Roman Reigns, 1,316 days, title reign ending here tonight, double champion, passing the torch to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes finishing his story. There's a lot of juice here. The run-ins, I thought they were well laid out. I thought that was really good. And honestly, that was only 6 minutes of the match. And the match at 39, before the run-ins, was a better wrestled match, in my opinion. But they had the doo-doo finish with Solo and the spike and all that stuff. Yeah. I thought that Cody and Roman were better at 39, but they were obviously very, very good at 40. And then the historical significance and then the story of both sides of the fence here. And then just really, really knowing that it's time and then hitting it out of the park. Probably why I put it at 5. I thought
it wasn't necessarily my bag, but I can see why I could be totally wrong on it for sure. Yeah.
Where would you put it?
For me personally, I would go around somewhere like Triple H and Undertaker at 27 is kind of the level I'd have it on.
Okay.
I feel like
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
It's a surmised list. It's together, and I'm fine with that. We'll comb through it one last time as we go, and let's get there with this one right here.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that I went with this right now? Fourth to last, and that is WrestleMania 13 submission match. 5 stars each way. Stone Cold Steve Austin is crowned. Bret Hart is officially flipped. 5 stars both ways. Say
5
less.
stars. Yeah.
I say less.
Do we
have a number one?
It's number one for me. It's my
if we were doing WWF History Company matches, this would be up there as well.
That would be the one. In fact, I probably got to go back and watch that show this weekend because it's been a long time since I watched 13 and reviewed it. So that'd be in the WrestleMania season.
Chicago Street Fight's not that bad.
Chicago Street Fight, yeah. So no, I mean, Bret and Austin obviously double turn, created a whole new run for Bret Hart, and everything that led to Montreal, and you created Steve Austin, and gave famous visuals and one of those famous finishes of all time, and one of the best matches ever, and all-time WrestleMania moment. Yeah, it's got to be for me. Got to be number one. I don't even know if anything else supplanted, but yeah, number one.
And it's funny too because it's like it wasn't even the plan. It was probably Plan C. Shawn lost his smile, and it's like, all right, we're gonna go with the Undertaker. We'll just give him Sid, and this match was over. This feud was pretty much over at Survivor Series, but we're gonna heat it up again, and it just fucking what a great coincidence, honestly.
At every level, absolutely. Yeah, just one of those things that happens in wrestling sometimes. You bet.
Woo! WrestleMania 28. The last Undertaker match we're going to talk about here tonight, and spoiler, the last Triple H match we're going to talk about here tonight. But that is Hell in a Cell. Scott Keith, 5 stars. I went 4 3/4. The floor is yours. I think this match is there. I understand the hate. I understand the hate, but
people give me shit about this one too over the years.
I think it's great, but oof.
Yeah, I know. I understand the issues with it, like people complaining about like how it's plotting and repetitive and like, but God, that near fall where like he's going for the super kick and the pedigree, and I was like, I bought it, and man,
that was better than the reverse tombstone. That spot was better than the reverse tombstone that we gushed about.
Yeah.
So if I were to rank them, but the whole 25 to 28. I'm going 25, 28, 27, 26. That's how personally I would look at it.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, like it was, it's sometimes you just need the Gaga, and like they brought it, super kick the pedigree. Yeah, exactly. That's
coming around on the Gaga, but this was it was benefited from being second on the show. You could say that The Rock and Cena sold the show in this match, kind of supplanted it on 28 being an underrated WrestleMania. I think they had 3 very borderline great match. I think the main event's really great, and I think that the Punk and Jericho match is also great, and then this one is the best out of the 3. 28's an underrated WrestleMania in my opinion, for sure.
A lot of going for it. Yeah, I people give me shit over this one over the years, but God, I loved it at the time, and sometimes just having a match that's great at the moment and doesn't have to be reviewed a million times is enough, I feel like. So yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
I think it's above 31. Where would you tell me to stop on putting it where?
I mean, I think it's fair to put it above 31. Yeah. Probably just above there, I think would be a fair placing for it.
All right. And then again, we have 2 more left and then we'll finalize everything. But will you be surprised that I did not leave this match for last?
Oh, a little bit.
That I'm surprised that I did not leave this match for last. Right. That's not personal. It's not personal whatsoever, but it's a great match. It truly is
a great match. I will say it's from a different era, and I know there are people who watch it now and they don't really get it, but like you kind of had to be 13 years old and watching rented on beta for the first time and to really understand, I think, what the match meant. Like this was a match you didn't see in that era, unless you were a hardcore NWA fan as well, and you were used to seeing that kind of stuff from like Flair and Steamboat and those kind of guys. And Yeah, and you look at it now, and it's definitely got flaws. It definitely feels like there's a certain rehearsed aspect to it because there was, but like, you know, you can't argue
Doesn't
with those
matter how
near
the
falls at the
salad's
end.
made, right? It doesn't matter how the salad's made. It's how good is the salad, right?
That's right, exactly.
Toss the
Yeah,
salad every different ways, but whatever, right?
yeah,
So again, it's for the audio listeners. I forgot to mention Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man Randy Savage, WrestleMania 3, Scott 5. I'm at 4 3/4. See, I mentioned being in 86 in my watch. I would like to watch this with the build in mind.
yeah.
I understand that it is a 5-star match, but I don't know for me if it's a 5-star match. Perhaps why I just dinged it a little bit. I'd like to put myself in 1987 with the build, the throat, and all that stuff,
Yeah,
right? So
definitely something to that. Yeah, for sure.
there's definitely something to it. Where would
Yeah.
you like to put this on the list? I'll kind of defer to you.
I mean, it's really high up, but I mean, obviously, it got overtaken by other things around it. I would still go a notch below the ladder match, honestly. Maybe below Michaels and Ramon. I
Yep,
feel
right
like
below
it's
that, and
yeah. I mean,
that's
if you're looking at it from today's perspective, it's a 14-minute match. That's really excellent. But I mean, there was so much stuff that came after it that overshadowed it. But yeah, I would.
I didn't want to bury the lead, but I said like match structure is a big thing with WrestleMania, of course, and the match structure with the chaos of the franticness really excelled. But at the end of the day, 14 minutes, like I get it,
Yeah,
I get it. A pattern, like a moment in time, perhaps maybe knock that down a little bit as well in a way.
yeah, exactly.
WrestleMania 18, 4 stars,
Mm.
5 stars for me, brother. Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. Now, mind you, let me just start here. I
Yes.
used to be that guy that says there's match structure, there's work rate, there's
Yeah.
story, there's psychology. It's like a culmination of all that. And Hogan's punches in this match is so fucking bad at times.
Yeah.
But and then another one that you take in is atmosphere. When we talked about 36, obviously it was hard to rate the
Yeah.
atmosphere too. But like you look at all that, you go 5-star atmosphere, 5-star story, 5-star, whatever, Hogan formula, so on and so forth, psychology, all that stuff, but 3-star work rate at best
Yeah. Yeah.
because the punching, I threw that philosophy out the window for this match. I
Yeah.
used to give
Well,
it 4.5. I rewatched it. I fucking love it. I love it. I adore it. I think it's incredible. I think the crowd is amazing. I think Hogan's amazing. And honestly, The Rock makes it. And I
yeah.
understand Meltzer's 3. I understand you're 4. I understand there. I'm just throwing the playbook out the window. I fucking love it.
No, fair enough. I mean, I've watched it a lot. I've rewatched it a lot.
Yeah.
I've proceeded from like 2 up to 4 now. Maybe we'll go higher in the future. I don't know. Thing is, I don't really hold any particular nostalgia for Hogan as a fan, right? I'm not a
Yeah.
Hogan guy, right? So like, there's a lot. If you have the Hogan nostalgia, there's a lot to that as far as the match goes, and appreciate it from that level. But yeah, no, hey, I love the match, and
Yeah.
and in fact, I think it's a solid 4 stars, and I think it's
There's
got
nothing wrong with
it's
that.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't put it at number 1 or anything like that, but
No,
hey,
and I wouldn't make a case for it to be number 1
yeah,
because a little bit of the warts in again, it's a dream match that lived up to the hype, but if it never happened historically, you're fine.
yeah.
You
But I
know,
mean, yeah, I mean, I'd be comfortable putting it like top 10.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's top 10. Like I think it's a little bit more important than 39,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
I think so.
you could even make a case. I honestly, I could make a case where I put it right below Savage Steamboat, or not
Mm.
Savage Steamboat, Savage and Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
If
Wow.
you,
All right.
we'll see. All right,
I
we'll
would
to
not
be
make that
fair.
case, but I think above 39 is fair.
All right, we'll split it for now, and then
Okay.
we're gonna go. So
Okay.
just to
Yeah.
review it, you let me know what sounds wonky as I lead the. I'm gonna read the list for the audio listeners,
Okay.
and then you let me know as we go. Be like, that doesn't feel right, and
Okay.
I'll do the same. All right, last match, WrestleMania 4, Ricky Steamboat, Greg the Hammer Valentine's, 40 Steiner's Head Shrinkers, number 33, WrestleMania 33, AJ, Shane, Bulldogs, Dream Team, WrestleMania 2, and then WrestleMania, and then coming at number 37 is Shawn and Diesel from WrestleMania 11. And that's kind of that bottom tier that we talked about, and maybe Shawn and Diesel above. That's kind of the split when we were
Yeah.
kind of sorting it all up. WrestleMania 36 coming in at number 36 in Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. WrestleMania 32, the three horsewomen, not including Bayley. WrestleMania 1 coming in at number 34 is the main event. WrestleMania 14. Now I think we're in a new tier. Do we move this up? Coming in at number 33, WrestleMania 14, Austin Hart. Now that's a match that we kind of gushed a little bit about. Is it? I believe that it's above everything that we've talked about. Is
I
it?
think so.
Is it below? Is it correct here? Should we move it up? What do you think?
I still think it's correct there. It had historical, but it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It was.
So do you think WrestleMania 15 is significantly better? And WrestleMania
I think
12?
For me, I think 15 is significantly better. Yes. 12. 12. I'd be happy to move down. Honestly, I just dislike that match so much. I put 12 back down below Austin and Rock, or Austin and Michaels for sure. Yeah, I do that.
Right. We'll do that. All right.
We'll do
so number 30. So 12, 14, 15. And then coming at number 30 is WrestleMania 24 main event, Edge and The Undertaker.
Yeah.
29, Savage, Hogan, Mega Powers Explode. 28, WrestleMania 3, Shawn Michaels, John Cena. The first match we rated, WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 34, and then coming in at number 25, WrestleMania 35, Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. We good with that tier?
I think so. Yep.
WrestleMania 29, WrestleMania 6, WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 38 coming in at number 21. That was the next clump of 5.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm probably still high on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, but hey, I like the match.
I'll give you it. I'm not going to push for him.
And
I actually think the WrestleMania 6 match has obviously some historical significance, but I feel that it's kind of right. When Justin and I did all of the WrestleMania matches, we had it at 18. So, it kind of is what it is. All right, rounding out number 20, the hardcore match, WrestleMania 22, WrestleMania 26, 18, WrestleMania 41, 17, the WrestleMania 8 Savage and Flair match, and then number 16 is the triple threat from WrestleMania 37, Roman, Daniel Bryan, and Edge. We good?
Yep, we good there.
All right, top 15. Number 19, WrestleMania 19 at 15, WrestleMania 20 at 14, WrestleMania 40 at 13, WrestleMania 27 between the Triple H and The Rock, and then number 11, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. That was our number 1 for a while there.
It was, yeah. Well,
we're good there?
Got some good stuff, yep.
All right, here's your top 10. WrestleMania 39, Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. WrestleMania 31, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar with the Seth Rollins cash in. WrestleMania 18 at number 8, and then WrestleMania 7, number 7, WrestleMania 28, Triple H and Undertaker. I think that's like that tier before we jump into WrestleMania 7. You agree with all that?
I think so, yeah.
All right, and then here's our top 6. WrestleMania Savage, career-threatening match. WrestleMania 3, Savage Steamboat. WrestleMania 10, the ladder match. Number 3, WrestleMania 17, Rock Austin. Number 1, WrestleMania 2, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. And WrestleMania 1, submission match, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
Is there anything that sticks out to a sore thumb before we sign, seal, and deliver this in the mail?
I think like a sore thumb. I mean, honestly, the submission match has to be number 1. I can't have anything else on the list that's even.
And I agree. Yeah. Yep. You agree? Are we sending this to the vault? Can the
I think we send it to the vault.
Sign, seal, and deliver.
You bet.
Scott Keith, this was really fun, buddy. What an afternoon we had here. We went Broadway. Let's put it that way. Blog of Doom, North-South Connection. Check them out, both out, guys. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks so much, Ron. Appreciate it.